Welcome to the MCG for Saturday afternoon football live. It is the Western Bulldogs against the Adelaide Crows. And what a week it has been in Adelaide, with Malcolm Blight's big surprise during the week. After coaching the Crows to the premiership for the last 2 years, he's decided to pull the pin. And Terry Wallace during the week admitted, well, the Malcolm Blight factor will be interesting. Will it fire up the Crows players today? But certainly the Bulldogs are in great form. Let's have a look at their position on the ladder. And the Bulldogs are in 4th spot with 9 wins, 5 losses and 1 draw. And the Crows way down in 12th position, 6 wins and 9 losses. If the Bulldogs win here today and the Lions lose to St Kilda, the Dogs will be 1.5 games clear in 4th spot and be a long way to securing a home final berth in September.
The 1999 AFL Coca-Cola Premiership season proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Foster's Light Ice for extreme refreshment. And the new Mitsubishi Magna 3.5, the next generation.
Well, it certainly was a bombshell dropped by Malcolm Blight in Adelaide during the week. And here he is. He is at the MCG. He will be coaching for the last 7 games. But according to him during the week, that'll be it. And after 2 premierships, he's out of there. And this is what Malcolm had to say at his press conference midweek.
I'm pretty tired, actually. You know, I've been going through sort of 30 years in this game now, and when we started to review the season and started talking about the year 2000 and what the club should do and where it should head and all that sort of stuff, I just couldn't get my whole mind around it. You know, another pre-season, another whole crack at it, and the battery's really running down. And as Bob said, you know, I'm certainly committed to doing everything I can in the last 7 weeks. But beyond that, I think probably Malcolm Blight in football and playing and coaching is over. You know, I've had a pretty good run for 30 years, so I think it's just time to look at something else in your life and just take a spell.
Well, Kevin Bartlett is with us in commentary today. A great player, but you didn't get a chance to pull the pin as a coach.
No, I had the pin pulled on me, Drew.
Didn't get a chance to get tired.
Not a chance to, but what a fantastic record Malcolm Blight has got in football. He's achieved the Brownlow medal, McGarry medal.
Brownlow, led the goal kickers in both states and captained both states. Phenomenal, really.
Fantastic record, but obviously he's lost the fire in the belly, and there was talk after he won the first premiership that he might give it away, and again after the second premiership. And I think this year, with the way the Crows are going, he's probably looked back and thought, well, really, you know, that fire's no longer there in my belly, and if it's not there, he shouldn't go on, and I think he's made the right decision.
Well, tough assignment today against the Western Bulldogs, who were absolutely sensational here last weekend in ending the 10-game winning streak of the Kangaroos, and the Bulldogs go in today with an unchanged lineup.
Yes, and one of the best sides in the competition, and no doubt when you have a look at, you see Nicky Winmar up there at the top. He's had a pretty good season, beating 24 goals, so he's been a fine pickup. But it's been the old stager for the Western Bulldogs, Scotty Wine, who's been absolutely magnificent this year. He's the general. He controls at the centre bounces. He brings all those midfield players into the game, and then of course he's got that great knack of just wandering down to the back line, filling up the hole, taking marks and setting up there with the runners coming through, such as Rowan Smith. He is a magnificent player, Scotty Wine, and he's the man, along with this man here, Chris Grant, who last week came back to his very best form, 6 goals against North Melbourne. He is a key to the Bulldogs side. We know he's a magnificent player. He had lost confidence in his kicking, but last week he came back to his best. Now, if he's back kicking goals for the Western Bulldogs, they are going to be a very formidable side for the rest of the season.
And 6 straight it was. Meanwhile, the Crows have made 4 changes this week. Mark Rasciuto, unfortunately, out with an ankle injury, but Perry, Connell and Tyson have been omitted.
And Drew, there has been some talk, and I think you mentioned it, will the Crows be fired up now that Malcolm Blight announced his resignation? Let's hope not, because it would be indictment on the players if it takes the coach to resign before they come good. I think a few of them have lost the fire in the belly themselves, and today it'll be interesting to see. But this young boy's got plenty of fire in the belly. Brett Burton, saw him last week. He took 3 of the best marks you could see, and 1 mark certainly will be a contender for the Cadbury Mark of the Year. He's an exciting player. He takes great marks. He generally finishes off his good play. He can play midfield or up on the forward line. He's been one of the bonuses that's come out of the Adelaide Crows season this year. The other bonus, I think, is this man on screen. He carries a big burden today, Darren Jarman. He's kicked 17 goals in the last 3 games. He's the key to the Adelaide Crows. If he gets away to a good start, if he kicks some goals early, he certainly can fire up his teammates, and he's going to have a very important role today.
Well, this is only the third time these two teams have met at the MCG. The last two times, preliminary final day, the last 2 years. And of course, the Crows won both of them and went on to win the flag. So a bit of a chance for revenge here today for the Bulldogs against the Crows. Game starting soon. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back to the MCG. Game about to start. In commentary with us today, Ian Robertson. G'day, Robbo.
Good on you, Drew. Yes, looking forward to this game. Bulldogs taking everything before them. And the Crows, of course, well, they've just got to put up or shut up, I guess.
Well, Neil Curley, it's been a big week in Adelaide, Curls.
It certainly has, Drew, and this promised to be a great game of footy. Speaking to Terry Wallace before the game, very concerned about the player or how the players will react over the coaching situation.
Wind in the middle. Well, he's beaten in the first one by Robran, who started on the ball, and Wind won nearly everything last week. So he's at none out of one so far. Hart has it, gets a good hand pass away. Burton goes short to Robran at full stretch. Good mark. So he certainly started well, Matthew Robran. He kicks deep to full forward. Jarman waits at the back. It comes his way. A juggle for it. He's still a chance. The ball flips out. Robbins is there. Attempted one off the ground, and eventually Southern clears for the Dogs. He goes out to Brown. Nathan Brown, who was brilliant last week. Long kick up towards centre wing. Hudson beaten for it by Smart. Well played by Nigel Smart. Hart takes the hand pass. Good conditions at the MCG. A dive by Benke and a mark on the cricket pitch area.
So Danny Southern on picture there, minding the mark. Darren Jarman down close to the goal square. Gee, the Bulldogs will have to keep a close eye on Darren Jarman. Beautiful kick, goes in well within scoring range off the back there of the pack. It rolls through for the first score of the game, a behind to Adelaide.
Robbo, interchange for Western Bulldogs. Winmar, Croft, Martin, Dimatina.
Thanks, Curls. It looked as though both teams, as selected here with I think Herbert, Edwards, Johnson and Gallagher may have been the players that went to the bench for the Crows.
That's correct.
Lined up at full forward too for the Bulldogs. We know that a couple of years ago he was fantastic in the finals for them. So if he can find his best form at full forward, and obviously he gets a crack at it today by Terry Wallace.
I drove one of their very keen supporters to the ground today, Kevin, and he mentioned about James Cook's year for the Western Bulldogs a couple of seasons ago, where he kicked something like 70 goals. So they'll be looking for a big effort from James Cook. Good punch away at the half-back by Leon Cameron, and he strides through. Gee, didn't he break the line there beautifully? Powell, Hudson from half-forward, kicks in the direction of Cook. His opponent, Bassett. Cook, well, gee, that was ambitious, wasn't it?
Well, I think Paul Hudson then should have gone for goal, because once James Cook led, the goal square was open, and he's such a magnificent kick. Even if he hadn't quite made the distance on the full, I'm certain the ball would have bounced through. But maybe trying to give a bit of confidence to Cook that you mentioned before, Robbo, get him into the game early.
Certainly. Gee, it's a beautiful day here in Melbourne. We look as though we're going to get away with these conditions for most of the match anyway. Nigel Smart gets the hand pass into the path of Matthew Robran. Brown trying to provide the pressure. In support of Robran was Burton, gets back onto his right and then kicks towards half forward. Good kick too. Onto the face there of McGregor. McGregor for the Crows. Kicks the ball towards full forward. Marking contest over the head there of Darren Jarman. Chance for Costa. Hand passed away by West. Deep in the forward pocket for Adelaide. Shot for goal by Mark Stevens. Goes to the square. And at the back of the pack, it is hurried through for another rush behind to Adelaide.
Ian, extremely windy down here at ground level. It's a swirly wind, so players will have trouble, A, judging the mark, and B, kicking for goal.
Mark Bickley won the toss, and the Crows going left to right in the first quarter with this breeze. So Leon Cameron to kick into the breeze. Comes straight up the ground. Could be dangerous. McLeod gets it, plays on, and kicks a goal.
Well, we know how good he is. McLeod is a dangerous player. It's a good start for the Crows. 1-2-8. No score yet to the Western Bulldogs, because the Bulldogs are usually a fast starting side. They can score very, very quickly. You can see here from this kick out where it just was a poor kick-out, and I just wonder, Robbo, we talk about kick-out strategies, just how many goals get belted back over the Bulldogs' head and other sides' heads when they have these kick-out strategies. One day we'll see them kick the ball long, maybe.
Ball back in the middle. Wine goes up against Robin. Robin beats him again. Down to Burton. Smart from the cricket pitch. A bit of a fumble, but they've started well, the Crows. Liberatore. Through Powell it goes. And the Bulldogs driven into attack. Wide to Hudson. Left half forward, too far out to score. Across the half forward line to Grant. Well, he started brilliantly last Sunday and kicked 5 first half goals. This time he gives it off to Cook, who the ball is spoiled from behind him. Comes to Stevens. Stevens out towards centre wing. Robin. Well played so far by Matthew Robin.
Neil, you had a thought that maybe the Bulldogs might have been a bit cocky in this match.
Well, they had a great win last week, and sometimes it does rub off to the players.
Well, they're taking a little while to settle in this match. Adelaide certainly taking it right up to them in the early part.
I thought maybe a free kick here to Nathan, to young Robbins here. Now he's caught. That's caught. He had a chance to get rid of the ball. Plenty of time.
Yes, it looks fairly blatant. Umpire having nothing to do with it. Burton hacks it out of there, over on the full.
And Ian, also, Robin will relish this running around the ground, and he will lead Scott Wine a merry dance.
Well,
that remains to be seen, Curls, because Scott Wine is one of the best in the business. Not too many people lead him a merry dance, particularly if they're a non-ruckman.
You'd have a good afternoon up here with KB, Curls, by the sound of that.
I will rest my judgment.
Girls, how many matches would he have played in the ruck, Robert?
He's had some short bursts in there, but he is a very intelligent player. Scotty Wine will try and drop back, as we can see now, but Robin's taking him right out of the play.
So the boundary throw in just forward of centre wing, favouring the Bulldogs. Chance for Hudson. Little kick. He tried to set it up for Johnson. Coming down the ground is Cook, met by Jamieson. Ball spills now for Stengline. Stengline's kick goes towards half forward. No mark taken there. The ball spills to the feet there of Brett James. Just hacking it forward and wide at half back was Robbins. Oh, good tackle by Robbins on Costa. Around the hips, nothing Costa could do. Ball to be thrown in.
Now, overnight, there was unconfirmed reports that somebody got out on this ground on a tractor and did some wheelies around the place, but I don't see much evidence of it. There was soccer here during the week, and there's been plenty of traffic on the MCG, but I don't see any tractor marks.
Drew, I walked across the ground before the game. There are a few tractor marks, but no skid marks, just tyre marks.
How does one get a tractor into the MCG to do wheelies?
Well,
No, it's on there to take the centre cover off.
no, I believe that somebody actually did get in during the night and drove a tractor out onto the ground.
Went for a joyride.
Went for a joyride. Here's West from half back up towards centre wing. The runner almost in play here. Comes to Bickley, front of the pack. The Crows have started this game well. James, oh, smart, used his boot to get rid of his opponent, Johnson, but he forgot to take the ball. Stengline taken down, a great tackle by Montgomery. Ball, say the crowd. Give it to me, said the umpire.
Well, you can't put your foot out into the face and the body of an oncoming player. I mean, if you take it in a marking contest and you got your eyes on the ball, but you just can't stick your leg out to fend off a player.
Well, we've got 3 umpires out there, Kev. What the dickens are they watching then? You're on the rules committee. You wonder. Chris Grant. Left foot kick by Grant. Oh, good effort. Well done, Montgomery. Slipping and sliding. Something similar to David Neitz a few weeks ago when he actually slipped, took his eye off the ball, recovered and took a great mark, and this was a top effort by Montgomery.
Right in the penalty area, so it was a bit like Mark Bosnich the other night.
Yes, too true.
He's a dangerous player, Montgomery, because of his size. He's a very good mark for his size, and sometimes very hard to match him up.
Career goals 50 from 52 matches. He debuted in 1997, crossing from the, well, would it have been the VFA then, probably, still, Springvale, a couple of years ago.
Springvale.
Renamed the VFL now.
Hey, Kevin, what do you think of this Bulldog bench? You have Winmar, Croft, Martin and Dimartino.
Few
That's a
surprises.
very dangerous quartet.
As we watch Montgomery go for the first goal to the Bulldogs, off to the right. scores a behind.
I was very surprised when I saw some of those guys take up their positions. Nicky Winmar's booted 24 goals this year, and he's been a bit of a foil up forward. Last time I saw the Bulldogs play, Dimartino was best on ground, and Croft has done some magnificent jobs up back and also on the forward line. I thought that he was a certainty to be in their starting lineup.
Stevens goes very close to the boundary line here. Montgomery nearly took the mark there. The tap on was provided by Scotty West. Now what's happening here, Kevin? It was deemed as a throw, was it? So the free kick to Ben Hart to be taken at right half back.
Well, we've been playing nearly 10 minutes and we've had just one goal in the game. Here's the replay of the throw by West, no doubt about it. Grant has it at half forward for the Dogs. Keeps it low on the 50. Montgomery this time couldn't do the Bosnich. Garlick gets it back to Montgomery. Another throw. Well, the Bulldogs are playing rugby today.
Been watching too many Crows players.
Free kick taken. Stevens has it at right half back for the Crows. Thumps it long towards centre half forward. They wrestle and jostle, and leaving just one man, Curley, to take the mark. Oh, he goes across half back, actually behind. Crediuk. Jarman's got him. Oh, that's dangerous. Crediuk just gets it to the line. Would have had his heart in his mouth there with Jarman breathing down his neck.
You just saw that mark by Todd Curley. He's been one of the most improved players this year for the Bulldogs. A few weeks ago, I saw him play on Tony Modra, and he was absolutely magnificent. He held him kickless firstly until the last term, and he kicked a goal off the ground at one stage. So Todd Curley is one of the big improvers for the Bulldogs. Number 11.
Boundary throw in. Nigel Smart at the fall of the ball. Keeps the ball rolling in front of himself, but not able to gather or control. The tackle provided by Vardy was pretty good. Kept the ball in the scoring zone. Peter Vardy and Todd Curley having a to-do behind play. Ball will be thrown in left forward pocket for Adelaide. They lead. They've kicked a goal through Andrew McLeod. An errant kick in by Leon Cameron, leading to that opportunity for Andrew McLeod to convert. Boundary throw in. Burton not able to swoop on it. Chance for Vardy. Snapshot by Peter Vardy. Has missed to the right-hand side.
KB, I'll make a statement here and now. I think you'll find Scotty Wine will find Matthew Rodman's leap very difficult to contain, so you'll have to use body weight on him to stop that.
Okay, well, I just know that he's such an intelligent player, Scotty Wine, that I find it difficult to think that a non-ruckman who might have played a couple of games will worry Scotty Wine.
Well, last week the Dogs won the centre hit-outs 25-6 against the Kangaroos. So if Rodman can match Wine in the middle and actually get on top of him, that will be one of the great performances of the season. Johnson. That could well determine the game. Montgomery working into the breeze, the Dogs, and Cook takes the mark about 45 metres from goal.
Gee, Johnson's a playmaker, isn't he, Kevin? They like to try and get the ball to Johnson and Rowan Smith through the middle of the ground quite often.
You just mentioned two players, Robbo, who are so important. If you're going to prioritise a couple of players for the Western Bulldogs to stop, be that man on screen, Johnson, and also Rowan Smith, because they run a lot with the ball, they carry it, and they're both very good kicks. Young Stenglen then, his ability to smother that ball, he didn't keep his hands low enough. He was in position to smother the ball, but he had it waist height. He had to bring his hands down a bit lower, and he would have pulled it off.
Interesting to see where the breeze is funneling in between the grandstands. Cook kicking into it. It's not a bad looking kick. Just offline for a behind. So he started with one out of bounds and one behind. And the Bulldogs, who were a rollicking cricket score side last week, have gone 13 minutes without getting a goal.
Yes, both teams prepared to just negate each other in the early part. Good kick by Jamieson. Lobs the ball in the middle of the ground. Gathered by Grant. Tackled by James was effective. Locked him up.
Oh, it was a great tackle.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because he's got a big man coming at him. He had a bit of momentum up as well. And James stood his ground here. Very well done.
Good call, KB. That was a great tackle.
So just away from the centre circle, the umpire will bounce. We've got Greg Scroop, we've got Stuart Wen and Shane McInerney officiating in this match. Bickley hacks it out of there. Gathered by McGregor. McGregor's kick across his body. Oh, well done. Gee, haven't we become used to this? Especially on this ground. Darren Jarman.
He loves the MC, too.
Oh, centre stage.
And Curls, he has been in great form. I know he only got a couple of goals last week against Carlton, but he had 9 the week before, I think, against Melbourne, and he kicked, before that, he kicked 6 also against Geelong.
Yeah, he's had a great run.
Well, he's a very good player.
Second goal to Adelaide, kicked by Darren Jarman. Just a little bit of thought there that maybe he gave Steve Crediuk a little nudge to get him out of the way, but he took the mark, it was given the all clear, and he kicked the goal, of course, from right on the end of the square.
Well, he looked like he steadied himself. I'm not quite certain whether there was a shove, but certainly there was a steadying hand there. But if he plays well today, and he's looked sharp so far too, Darren Jarman, could make it very difficult for the Bulldogs.
That's now 298 career goals for Darren Jarman. And when the Crows beat the Dogs by 2 points in the preliminary final a couple of years ago, it was Darren Jarman who bit them on the backside like he's done to other sides. Back in the middle, Wind and Robran. Well, Wind actually finished up getting a hand pass out, chopped off by Smart. Really tough in there. And it'll be a secondary ball up.
You wonder, Kevin, whether there are any mental scars from that game 2 years ago when the Bulldogs thought they were a shoo-in to make the grand final, and the Crows came from, I think, 30 points behind.
And there was a couple of goals in that last quarter. I know Libba had thought he kicked a goal. They only needed to kick one, and they were into the grand final.
Yeah. That famous shot of Libba being picked up by his teammates and punching the air. They thought they'd won the game. Here's Todd Curley up at centre wing. Kicks short of half forward. Beautiful kick off the left. Powell's been an excellent player this year. He goes long. Cook gets underneath it. Grant in the goal square. Missed it.
Just rushed it a little bit then. I thought Chris Grant, he just could have taken his time. He could have just had a little bit more poise then. I think he just maybe felt he was under a little bit more pressure than what he was. I think we can put that one down to a wasted opportunity.
You would have handballed that, KB.
To myself.
Actually, another player in that game that the Crows just stole was Mark West, who had a flying shot at goal towards the end. I'll tell you what, they're causing some concerns here, the Crows, for the Bulldogs. Certainly letting the Bullies know that there's a game of football here to be won. Robran away from Robbins. Robran's shot rolls end on end in a straight line, unfortunately for Matthew Robran, and scores another behind for Adelaide.
And that was smart play that time by Matthew Robran, because he could see the open goal square, and he only just needed a bit of a bounce, and he may have got the 4 points.
I'm going to keep reminding you and Curls of the statistics. Matthew Robran versus Scotty West.
Yeah, statistics don't always tell the story, though.
No, true, but he's had now 3 kicks, 2 marks, 2 hit-outs, Matthew Robran. Kicked to behind. Good knockout there by Scotty Wine. Gathered by Southern. Hand pass away. Chance for Brown. Vision not bad. Garlick gathers away from Costa. Spun out of trouble pretty well, Garlick. And then goes across the half-forward line. Marking contest. Oh, no contest. Stengline did it pretty well. Kicks it forward. Nigel Smart looks as though he's pumped up for this game. He loves playing against the Victorian clubs here at the MCG. Robran again. Kick smothered off the boot. Terrific contest at half-forward for the Crows. And it's locked up. The umpire will bounce.
And the smother was by Wine, so maybe Scotty Wine is counting too.
Now, watch this one, KB. Wine will have to use his body here.
So another ruck contest between a Brownlow medalist ruckman and a novice at the Cape are being thrust into the position, Robran, because of injuries to every other ruckman in the side. Well, that was just about a dead heat. Couldn't give it to either of them, and they'll have to do it again.
In fact, Darcy did the ruck work that time, and Scotty Wine peeled off to make certain he's that loose man in defence. At the moment, he's inside the defensive 50.
Yeah, being picked up by Ben Hart at the moment. So Darcy wins, but straight to the opposition. Bickley to the edge of the goal square. Oh, good mark. Magnificent mark by Credior.
In fact, he was being picked up by the umpire, Shane McInerney, which doesn't surprise us these days. You can pick up opponents, take marks. Maybe we might see an umpire kick a goal.
There's a tone there, Kevin.
No, it was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
And Darcy's kick. And Curley.
You can only kick a point, KB, not a goal.
Kicked by Curley. Grant got one hand to it. McLeod's back there at half-back flank for the Crows. Down the line he goes. Chopped off by Liberatore. He slips the tackle, but a poor kick by Libba. He went short, but I don't know who he saw.
Yes, he seemed to lose the plot, didn't he? And gave it away to Vardy. Vardy's covering some territory. He's got the ball at right half-back. We've become accustomed to watching Peter Vardy kick goals for the Crows. He lobs the ball close to the wing, and Darcy is marked for the Bullies. Powell making position across the middle of the ground, but he ignores that. Just a little bit of indecision, then eventually goes to Stephen Powell right in the middle of the MCG. He quickly kicks it forward, a high ball, and well marked by Ben Hart. You've still got some very good quality players in this Crows lineup. Here's another one, kicking the ball forward, missed his target, Nigel Smart. He looked for Robran. Ball spills away from Nathan Brown. Smart to Burton. Burton's left foot snap at the feet of the defence there of the Bulldogs in Cameron. He's back there in support, was Crediuk. Crediuk goes out wide, and it is out. Oh, that must have been just centimetres in that. Looked as though it was out on the full. The boundary umpire will throw it in the right in front of the players' race where the Bulldogs have entered the arena here at the cricket ground.
I think I added up before the start of the game. They've still got 14 premiership players playing today, the Crows.
Fair point.
Ball close to the boundary line, and over it goes.
And also up there through a lot of purpose and a lot of commitment in the Crows' effort today so far.
Well, last week the Bulldogs against the rampaging Kangaroos kicked 13 first-half goals. So far they're goalless, and we've been playing 20 minutes. So whether it's a hangover from last week's build-up, I'm not sure, but gee, they don't look too sharp to me. Hart down the line, good mark. Vardy. He's about 3 kicks to goal from there. Or at that rate, about 7 kicks. Number 7 takes it, Nigel Smart.
Ben Hart's had 7 possessions already.
It's amazing how often a change of coach, through whatever circumstance, makes a difference to the players' minds.
Yep.
Smart goes long and high to the top of the square. Darcy drops a mark. Chance for the Crows. McGregor's in there fighting hard. Was that West or Brown getting it out? Liberatore. Ooh, crunch. In went Bickley leading with the hip.
That's a free kick, isn't it, Ken?
Yes, it should have been a free kick.
Can't do that, surely. The bloke hasn't got possession or control of the football. He just crashed straight into him.
Paul Hudson should have got a free kick.
Umpire had a clear view then too.
It's in the back as well, and so unfortunately for Paul Hudson, he didn't get the free.
So this is a ball up 40 metres from goal. Wine got a hand to it. Garlic fumbled. Wind. Little kick out of there. Just clears the 50, but only the opposition. Costa used to be a teammate. Off to Hart. Ben Hart, the defender. Great goal.
He's been threatening to do that.
Well, I'm a great fan of Ben Hart, so I thought that last year in the grand final, I know Andrew McLeod won the Norm Smith medal. I certainly would have given my votes to that man who just kicked that goal, Ben Hart. I thought he was magnificent in the grand final. He kept the Crows in the game in the first half when they were being absolutely slaughtered. And this is what he's capable of doing. He's just been a magnificent player. He started when he was 17 years of age, and that's what he's capable of doing. Great start by the Crows.
Well, Ben Hart kicked the goal, and he was down in that right forward pocket when you made mention of Scotty Wine peeling off the ruck contest. And I reckon he's been threatening to do that. He looks as though he's assessed his position on the ground. He's playing on the last line of defence right now, picking up Mickey Martin.
Mickey Martin, yep.
And just a moment or so ago, he was down on the 50-metre line and has kicked the Crows' 3rd goal. They lead 3-4 to 3 points. Ball spills out now for Simon Garlick. Couldn't get an effective kick away. Knocked forward by James. McLeod will nearly kick a goal, won't he? No, he goes short. Oh, well done. Beautifully weighted for Darren Jarman. There is some class in this side.
Yes, and McLeod, that man on screen, is looking pretty sharp too. He's had a few injuries this year as well. Curls might be able to tell us what sort of season McLeod's had.
Yes, it's been up and down a little bit, not quite as good as his brilliance that we know of, but it's been very steady. And while we're saying that, Darcy off, Martin on.
Jarman to go for goal, and he's kicked another one for Adelaide. They've kicked 4-4 to 3 points.
Well, he's kicked 47 goals for the season, Darren Jarman, and if he continues to play well, and Andrew McLeod plays well midfield, and if Robin can do the job in the ruck that Curls is confident he can do on Scotty Wine.
How do you pick winners in football?
Well, then it's going to be a pretty tough afternoon. Well, I said to you before, they've got 14 premiership players out there today.
What happens to them? Do they just go AWOL mentally one week to the next?
Look, they were very competitive last week in the first half against Carlton. They were very good, the Crows. They got slaughtered because they got slaughtered by Matthew Allen in the ruck at the centre bounces. I think, Curls, you'd agree with that?
Yeah, we didn't have Rodman.
Yeah, you didn't either. He's hammering you,
no,
Kevin.
He's right. They did. They got slaughtered. Young Herbert just wasn't up to taking on Matthew Allen.
Well, Wine won that one in the middle, but Bickley got the next touch. It now goes to Nathan Brown of the Dogs. His left footer spirals up towards half forward. Bounces past Stevens on Grant. Big task for young Stevens, who was more of a forward at the Kangaroos before he went to Adelaide, and now he's on one of the champ centre half forwards in the comp.
It's a funny game, this game of football. One week you're hot, the next week not so hot.
Well, last week the Crows had 15 players who had less than 10 kicks. That is unbelievable. Well, they're certainly going better than that today. To the top of the 50-metre square, and Adelaide just getting it going forward. Bulldogs can't get a possession down there. Here comes Johnson, though. Johnson goes wide to Cook. It didn't reach him. Bassett, well played. Running off James Cook. A poor old kick off the left. Smart. Well done. He beats Montgomery. Regains his feet. Up to half forward. Almost a mark to Burton. Credial. It spills out. All Adelaide. On the toe they go. West is back there behind halfback. Southern.
Handball's further afield to Johnson. Johnson into the centre. Too high, too far for Powell. Mopped up by Bickley. Hand pass pretty good, wasn't it? Hit its target beautifully. Nigel Smart kicks it forward. Jarman from behind Crediuk. Crediuk under pressure, right on the boundary line. Knocks it further afield. Johnson. Knocked away from Curley by Jarman. A good contest provided by the Crows forwards. They're still in the action. Ben Hart to gather the awkward bouncing ball. Knocks it away. Bickley looks. Handball wide. Under pressure, out wide was McGregor. Left foot kick by that player has been well marked by Cameron.
Hey boys, while some of the Crows players were down as individuals last week, they did go into the 50 on more occasions than Carlton.
Yes, they did so, Curls, and that was one of the areas that I think in the end proved to be pretty disappointing for the Crows. I was very impressed then with Darren Jarman. Sometimes he gets criticised for not applying enough pressure, but he was fantastic in that passage of play. Then Darren Jarman,
didn't he, Kevin?
My word, he did.
I thought he actually applied the tackle before the ball arrived with the Bulldog player, but he was right on him.
Well, 28 plays 3, and yes, it is the Crows who are 28, and the Bulldogs are 3. Bulldogs came into this game as, well, warm favourites. Adelaide's form a little inconsistent, but it's the Bulldogs who are struggling to register their first goal of this match, and we've only got 57 seconds left in the quarter. Grant, well pressured by Stevens, didn't give the free kick away, and still a contest between the centre of the ground and half forward, favouring the Bulldogs, and the umpire is giving a free kick to the Crows.
And Curls, the Crows have been inside 50 14 times, the Western Bulldogs 8 so far in this first quarter.
Well, Robbo, you talk about the form. In the last 9 rounds, the Bulldogs have won 7.5 games, and in the last 9 rounds, the Crows' only wins have been over Collingwood and Geelong, who are both no good.
What do you mean they're both no good?
They are no good.
Say that.
Dear me.
Half volley pick-up is good. Powell, straight to full forward. It's still there for Cook. Will it be their first goal? Well, that's an interesting one. The umpire's going to ball it up. Was he holding it? Actually, maybe the tackler held the ball into the player.
He did pretty well, Bassett, there, don't you think, Kevin? I thought his contest there, he looked disadvantaged as the ball went back.
Yes, it just depends whether he had an opportunity to get rid of the ball then, young James Cook.
Well, there is a goalless quarter for the Bulldogs, who were looking like premiership players last week, and they've kicked just 3 behinds in that opening quarter. An incredible turnaround, and the Crows have kicked 4 to 3 points in the opening term.
I just got an interesting stat pushed over my shoulder.
Yep.
Ben Hart had 6 kicks and 2 hand passes all day last week. He's had the same stats in the first term today.
Well, I think he's a fantastic player, Ben Hart, and certainly leading from defence, already kicking a goal, as you've said. So great opening term then by the Adelaide Crows, lead 28-3.
Fine sunny conditions, but quite windy at the MCG. The Crows did have the breeze in the first quarter, but I don't think the wind had anything to do with this scoreline. They played all over the Bulldogs to lead by 25 points and keep the Bulldogs goalless. Well, Neil Curley's been out listening to the coaches. probably hear Terry Wallace from here.
Well, Drew, not quite so much. I was more interested in the Crows situation, and Malcolm Blight did spend a lot of time with Andrew McLeod and also Ben Hart, I guess with some minor detail instructions, but I think we'll get a much better picture of the game after this quarter. Speaking of the umpires during the break, the wind is very, very swirly, making it very, very difficult for the players to judge the flight of the ball, and also some of their kicking. He said the Bulldogs have missed far too many simple kicks to a teammate, and that's let the Crows back in. So at half-time, I think we'll have a much fairer picture with the breeze going the Bulldogs' way this quarter on the game.
Yep. Thanks, girls. Now, there's Rowan Smith, a Victorian State of Origin representative. He played for Australia and Ireland last year, and he went through that quarter of football without touching the leather.
Well, I think Kevin acknowledged that he, with Johnson, are very important to the Footscray game plan, you would think, Kevin, wouldn't you?
Yes, and we can see coming on also at quarter time here, Paul Dimatina is on the field as well for the Western Bulldogs. He's gone down into the goal square as well, along with Rowan Smith. And Rowan Smith is being picked up by Trent Orman-Allen by the looks of it.
Yep.
Back in the middle, and the battle between Wind and Robran. Wind got it going the Dogs' way. Johnson taken off the ball by Costa, but Johnson won a possession in there. Well done by West, but he couldn't win a possession. Burton did well to get the kick. It bounced awkwardly for Benke over the head of Cameron as well. And beautifully played by Goodwin. The hand pass in. Costa, Jarman. He hasn't got the mark, but he's got front position. Oh, well done by Credior, who dived for the try line and scored a rugby try.
Drew, interchange for Bulldogs. Winmar, Darcy, Croft and Robbins. And for Adelaide, Herbert, Edwards, Johnson, Gallagher.
Good on you, Curls. Thanks for that. Both players there, Darren Jarman and Steve Credior, appealing to the umpire for a free kick. Nathan Brown kicks it out on the full. So good pressure all over the ground being concentrated on by the Crows. And it's showing on the scoreboard. Their first quarter was first class. They had 8 scoring shots for 4-4. Bulldogs went forward on a few occasions and kicked 3 behinds. Kick comes in towards the forward pocket area. Scotty Wine gets back and marks quite safely. He's between left back pocket and left half back flank. He's still inside his defensive 50. No one really to give it off to. Waiting. Now decides to go fairly long and high out towards the wing. Ball spills to the front. The silky smooth skills of Andrew McLeod. Back to Stevens. Across the centre of the ground. Gathered by James. He's doing a pretty good job. Nigel Smart. They've set up a chance here. Bickley from inside 50. Kicks the Crows' 5th goal. It's all Adelaide. Bickley roaming down the ground. Nigel Smart has been fantastic. Nigel Smart has had 6 kicks, 4 hand passes, and is the leading possession gatherer on the ground at the moment.
It's a good point you make, Robbo. Nigel Smart has been magnificent, and so has Andrew McLeod. But Smart setting it up to Mark Bickley, who kicks truly. So the pressure now fair and square on the shoulders of the Western Bulldogs.
Well, it's not totally foreign for the Bulldogs to find themselves a long way behind early. Just 2 weeks ago in Sydney, the Swans kicked 8 goals to 1 against them, and the Bulldogs got up and won. Here's Dimatina on the ground, Johnson off. Long kick here by Montgomery to the goal square. Martin, punched by Hart, good discipline. Gathered by Stevens, straight up the ground. Bickley, they've worked it beautifully. McLeod, a bit of a dance. He's kicked to centre half forward. Oh, good mark by the smallest man on the ground, Libba. Liberatore's kick back to the cricket pitch area. He's got a fair bit of carry on it, so there must be a bit of breeze behind that. Stevens. Grant dispossessed. Well done, Burton. Costa ridden into the ground by Robbins. What a tackle, and holding the ball.
That's got to get rid of the ball.
That's too hard.
Oh, well, it's just ridiculous.
Now, there's no free kick there. That's a cut and dry rule. That player must have some prior opportunity. He had none.
So the Bulldogs still striving for their first goal of the game. Bassett takes it through for a rush behind.
Winmar getting ready to come on.
Well, he's kicked 24 goals for the season, Nicky Winmar. I was surprised that he was sitting on the interchange bench. He has been lining up at full forward and in the forward pocket. He's been a bit of a decoy as well. So he should give him some bite when he comes on.
Precision with the kick in. Ben Harder's marked right on his defensive 50 line in front of the members stand. He in turn kicks beautifully and gave Simon Goodwin the chance to mark on his chest just behind the wing as far as the Crows are concerned. That kick slips off the side of his boot, not quite as precise as he would have desired, and in front of Matthew Robran minding the mark, the free kick will be taken by Scotty Wine. Doesn't take the kick, gives it away to Cameron by hand. In turn to Di Martina, already a couple of possessions since he came onto the ground. Cameron's left foot kick is very good. Hudson couldn't take the mark. Jamison, Costa, Robbins, still a chance for the Bullies. Robbins does well. Goes with the long kick to the square, and it is a Bulldog mark. Now this will be interesting, the angle that James Cook has put on. He's marked the ball right where the umpire's standing. He's played on and kicked a goal.
Hudson off.
So James Cook.
No, Monty got it, didn't he?
Monty did he?
I think Cook got it to Montgomery.
Well, Montgomery may have been the goal kicker, but a long time coming, the Bulldogs' first goal.
Yes, we'll see here where James Cook was taken to the ground here by Bassett. Gets to his feet and gives it across to Montgomery.
A sneaky little hand pass there by Cook, who was going to be at a pretty severe angle, and he got it into Montgomery, who just dribbled it through. The Bulldogs get their first goal at the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. Montgomery back to West, up towards the 50. Ormond Allen goes off the ground. Well, that's pretty deliberate, but a throw in is ruled.
There we go, KB. Exactly what I thought would happen. Scott Wine is now using his body.
Yes, and, well, he's very good at doing it too, Curls.
Well, he is.
Boundary throw in, Bulldogs right half forward. Robran doing well again. Here's Burton. He's good at ground level as well as the stratosphere. Terrific first season, Brett Burton. To the centre circle looking for Benke. Good mark. Gee, they worked that well. Kick by Benke towards the 50. McGregor with Southern. Southern outmarks him.
Yeah, well done by Danny Southern. Second mark. First kick, he's had 4 hand passes, goes out wide. Rowan Smith, first touch. Coming deep into the second term, 6.5 minutes into the second quarter. Garlick in the middle of the ground. Garlick in the direction of Winmar. Knocked away there by Bassett. Ball falls to the ground. West does well. Powell off the right. Snapshot for goal by Stephen Powell. Misses and scores a behind for the Bulldogs. His first score in the game.
Well, he's been a very good player this year too, Robbo. He's been averaging 21 possessions a game. He's really started to make his mark with the Bulldogs midfield.
Rod Jamison to bring the ball in. So we've had a goal each in this second quarter. Robran in front of Grant. Chris Grant's drifted a long way down the ground. Now Robran.
Good kick.
Plenty of distance into the breeze. Good punch from behind. Robbins has been good. His tackling's been superb. Well, West pushed to the ground when he didn't have it. No whistle on the play. Garlick kick smothered. Well smothered by Robran. Garlick then applies the tackle. Fumbled by Wine. Smith. Kick by Rowan Smith. Falling in a bit short. Bassett gets a hand to it, but still dangerous as Cook. Well done by James Cook. Winmar. First quarter on the bench, he's decked in a good tackle, and that's the right decision. That is a ball.
Yes, unfortunately to Kim Costa, that free kick went against him. That was a similar one there on Nicky Winmar, which of course is no free kick. We see there Trent Ormond Allen, and Cook did very well to keep that ball alive and maybe give a chance there, but some good tackling there at the same time by Stevens.
The bounce is only about 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal. Umpires found a free kick. It's going to Adelaide. Chris Grant quickly to his feet. Where's my man, he says, as Mark Bickley prepares to kick the ball away from the full back line for Adelaide. Goes in towards the middle, short. Cook got back and did well, provided a contest. Still alive for the Bulldogs. Cook over the top there was Bassett, and he is infringed. Overzealous tackle, be careful, as they might lose the ball. All because of James Cook getting back and providing a contest with Mark Stevens.
Very true, Ian. He did that very well, Cook. Worked hard.
He's a beautiful long kick of the football, the discoverer,
Well,
James Cook.
He has a breeze behind him.
He's kicked 16 goals for the season, Robbo.
Well, I can remember a game that he played for Carlton here at the cricket ground. It was a night game.
I saw that game.
Two of the biggest goals you've seen. So he wouldn't be without a chance. He tries to get the extra distance and hooks it dramatically. Missed the behind post by about 10 metres. So he's missed the goals by 17.
Well, he was kicking from 62 metres then.
Well, he went discovering then that was via the cape.
Short kick in has been taken by Simon Goodwin. This young boy has done pretty well with his career. He's a dual premiership player.
Yes, he's been a marvellous player for him. He's only a young man.
Ormond Allen hasn't seen much football this year. Up to Benke. Well, he works his way to the front. Did very well.
Good pair of hands, this
He
boy.
was very good against Carlton last week, particularly in the first quarter and a half. He has got strong hands.
Kick by Benke. Just short of full forward. Jarman might have been held before the ball arrived. Roving Vardy. Wide out in the pocket. Not much to aim at. Oh, so close. Hit the post.
In fact, last week, Koutafidis was taken off Benke. He was so strong early in the game with his marking. And we see, looks like Matthew Croft getting a bit of a rub down there.
Scotty Wine coming back in his battle with Matthew Robran. 2 and 4 to Scotty Wine in the second term. Just 1 touch to Matthew Robran. Beautiful long kick in. Covers the players and then bounces. Montgomery to Robbins. Robbins, a little left foot kick along the line. Really didn't give his key forward, Chris Grant, much of a chance there. Ormond Allen. Hand pass away to Stevens. Stevens down the line. They do it pretty well, the Crows. Jamison, very skillful. Now, the umpire's found a free kick here. Off the ball. It is going to be paid to the Bulldogs. Mark Stevens is minding the mark. Montgomery, the recipient, into the pocket, and Grant is marked away from Ormond Allen. Bulldog supporters screaming maybe for a penalty against Ormond Allen, who arrived just a second or two after and didn't really do anything all that badly. No indiscretion there, you wouldn't think.
No, you can't take that commitment out of the game. Gee whiz, the player had to go on with the attempt to spoil.
Yeah, no, I was just having a second look there on the replay, Neil, and I think the umpire has given Trent Ormond Allen the benefit there, and Chris Grant will shoot for goal from about 40 metres, maybe a little closer. Difficult angle, though.
He kicked 24 goals for the season. He kicked 6 of those goals last week, and he did admit that he had lost a lot of confidence in his shooting for goal, Chris Grant. Let's just see whether he's regained some of that confidence after that great game against North Melbourne.
Breeze is helping him.
So from in the left forward pocket, he shoots for goal, goes across the face, it's still alive. Brown, hemmed in, quick hand pass, Powell, well done. They get a goal out of this. It's very good work by the Bulldogs. Goal kick by Cook. Well, that was terrific sort of quick stuff, wasn't it, with the hands, and their alertness, their awareness was first class.
Kept the ball alive, Robbo. Went across the face of goals, and we see Martin coming off for the Western Bulldogs, and Croft is coming on. James Cook on screen. And we see here this is good play because it was tight, squeezed up the boundary line. Nathan Brown fired that off to Powell with those quick hands back, so 3 players combined in a very short space, and they were able to finish it off with a good goal.
Yeah, Winmar got the first one in that change. It was a terrific hand pass by Nicky Winmar. After the ball looked as though it might have been dead in the forward pocket. They got a goal out of it.
Got him.
McLeod. Oh, say the Bulldogs fans. Play on rules the umpire. Smart goes wide. Vardy breaks from the centre. Kick by Vardy, a wobbler. Oh, Lux of Fortune. Should have been a mark down there to McGregor. It spills behind him. Burton. Ooh, just offline.
With this boy's agility, his ability to straighten up, he could have nearly got around and had a shot with his right foot there.
Just a little bit of inexperience there. I was speaking to Rod Jamison last week in Adelaide about Brett Burton because of his marking ability, and he said he didn't know much about him last year, except at the end of the season they started playing highlights from the Sandful, and he said he appeared in every second highlight taking a screamer.
Well, he's been terrific for AFL this year since making his debut.
Bassett off, Johnson on.
Thanks, Curls. Kane Johnson, he's been a very good player for the Crows. Also, Burton's hand pass, just trying to force it forward. West away from Vardy. Good kick by Scotty West, wasn't it? Right up against the boundary line. He got it to Powell, then to Dimatina. Dimatina to half forward. Not a very good kick for Brown. And in front, where the defender should be, the ball just dropping a little short. Ormond Allen is marked safely. Goes out wide. Mark taken by Costa. Costa, a former Bulldog player, kicks the ball in towards full forward. No mark, the ball at the back. He'll kick a goal, won't he? He'll kick a goal. No. Gee whiz, it was always going to be in front of Brett Burton. Oh, he's in trouble. Dimatina confronted by Jarman. Ball spilled back. No, before that, maybe a free kick against Burton, was it?
Just couldn't quite control it, Robbo, in the goal square. He only just needed to get the kind bounce and he would have kicked an easy goal. Just couldn't come to him.
Yeah, the way the ball curled around, it's not often a shot from 5 metres misses by 15. Winmar. Over to Montgomery. Oh, bad bounce.
Shocker.
Yes, that was poor play there by Nicky.
Here's his free kick. Burton might have been a bit disappointed, but just out of shot, really. Well, he took Prediog out of the play. So, boundary throw in. Wine wins. But it's one thing to win. You've got to get it to a teammate. Goodwin. Inside the 50. Sun might be a problem. Oh, not for this fella. McGregor, this young bloke. Well, I saw him a couple of weeks ago. He was absolutely terrific against Geelong. This is just his 3rd game today.
And he was quite good against Carlton as well last week, Drew. He looks a good size. I think Curls, he's only 18.
Yes, there's got a bit of talent, this kid. He's still learning the game, but he's a promising junior.
Well, he's yet to kick a behind in AFL footy. 2 straight he's kicked for the season.
50 metres out into the breeze. That's not a bad kick. It's there. Great goal.
Well, his record shows he only kicks goals.
I tell you what, the Bullies they'll strive to get back from here, I reckon. The Crows are playing the better football.
I think this boy looks to be an enormous talent. At 18 years of age, have a look at the size of this boy. And we saw young Golding as well play a couple of games this year. Boys with plenty of size about them. And this can only be good for the Crows in the future.
Well, Brad Johnson still warming the bench, and look at the scoreline. It's the underdog, the Adelaide Crows, the coach resigning during the week. And we've watched with a lot of eagerness when coaches change. Robbins kicks in towards full forward. A mark is taken by Grant. Clubs, when they change their coaches, amazingly come out and lift their performance. That's exactly what Adelaide are doing. But Grant, on this occasion, out in front of Mark Stevens. And he has the chance to kick his first goal. James Cook has kicked a goal, and so has Brett Montgomery.
Well, they haven't actually changed their coach. It's still Malcolm Blight, but it might be a different Malcolm Blight.
Fair enough. Grant, from about 30 metres, kicks for goal and kicks accurately. So important that the Bullies answer. The goal kicked for Adelaide by McGregor just a moment or so ago. They did just that. They're 3-5, trailing the Crows, who are 6-6.
Well, that was very important for the Bulldogs to get that goal back very quickly, Robbo. And Chris Grant, of course, now playing at full forward. So they've thrown the gauntlet down to their best player to see if they can just finish off this second half. And he's playing in the goal square with Mark Stevens picking him up.
Just past the midway point of the second quarter. Wine wins cleverly and clearly in the middle. Costa goes back, but nearly every time Wine's been winning the hit out, Adelaide have been coming up with the football. Hart, Ormond Allen, great kick. Absolute beauty. Goodwin on the forward line, wide to Jarman.
It was a good passage of play, wasn't it?
It was good because they had the numbers when the ball, of course, Scotty Wine getting the tap, but they combined pretty well across half-back, under a bit of pressure, but they hit the mark with their handballs, which was good. And then, of course, this kick out in front from Goodwin is an absolute ripper.
Well, Darren Jarman has this one. We're 18 minutes into the second quarter. This for his 3rd goal, which would be 300 in his league career. And straight through.
Yes, that is his 300th goal, Drew. 297 coming into this game, Darren Jarman.
Do you believe that a player, I know he's got a lot of skill, but that oval ball is very difficult to control. I reckon that kick, he aimed it to the left, believing that he had a certain work on the ball that brought it back. It looked as though he'd hooked it and it was going to miss, didn't it?
It did, Robbo. When it came off his boot, my initial reaction was he's pushed this left, but it came back.
He's amazing.
Could be a magician.
I don't know whether you can do it, Drew, but because of the shape of the ball, but he is just an absolute marvel, Darren Jarman, with the football.
I agree. It looked like a mongrel punt going left, but it came back on the breeze straight through.
As if it was, you know, orchestrated, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, his conversion rate this year, according to the AFL record, is 76% this year.
Robbo, I think you'd call it in golf a nice fade shot.
It was curls, a very good summary of that, and well, there's a player on screen who's causing some damage for Adelaide. Nigel Smart, always been an admirer of his competitiveness. It's on record that he just loves to play against the Victorian clubs. Todd Curley tries to get it forward, only as far as Ormond Allen, doing a terrific job across that half-back line, Ormond Allen. Discipline, not big stats, but certainly holding the Bulldogs up. Costa, run down by Martin. Ball spills for Curley. Just a little flip under there for Winmar. Robbins all taken out of it by Ormond Allen. Set up by that hand pass. A horrific clash there. And Robbins is in trouble behind play. Ball spills for Vardy. Gee, we've looked at this a lot. Vardy's kick is ordinary. Krediuk is back there for the Bullies. And still Robbins in strife. Bulldogs can go down the ground here. Montgomery has the ball. Not quite up to the wing. They are now. The mark taken by Croft. Croft short, allowing Grant the ability there to run onto it, but Stevens was pretty good. Croft followed up his kick, then went towards Cook. Cook back on the goal line. He's taken a one-hander away from Ben Hart. Good, strong play by James Cook.
Robbins is on his feet.
He'd have rib problems after this, wouldn't he? Gee, that was a nasty one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was one where he wasn't expecting it, and I'd say the wind's completely out of his sails.
Yeah, and Gary Zimmerman there, the Bulldogs doctor. Just obviously he's going to come off the field, and Nathan Brown's going to come back on for the Bulldogs. That was a good mark that time by James Cook.
Well, another important kick for the Western Bulldogs. They trail by 25. He can bring it back to 19, and he's done just that. Beautiful kick by Cook. He's got his second.
You keep looking at James Cook, Robbo, and you see him do things like that, take strong marks, kick great goals, and he appears to have so much ability that so far in his career, he just hasn't been consistent enough, has he? Apart from that final series where he was an outstanding player. Start of this year, he was so unfit, and there's bang. That was Trent Ormond-Allen. And that was set up from Nicky Widmar's handball, and Robbins didn't see it coming. But James Cook always gives you the impression that he's about to threaten, and you would think he can be a lot better than what he's been so far in his career.
Well, back in the middle now, and a 19-point lead to the Crows after they had led by 25 at quarter time. Benke. Hand pass is good to Bickley. They've run forward to the ball. Here's Brett Burton, 35 metres out. Great goal.
Got 12 possessions, Brett Burton.
Well, it's been goal for goal in this second quarter. He has won a lot of the ball as Benke. We see out here Benke did well at ground level, because I don't suppose he's noted for that, curls.
Oh, yeah, he's an all-round player, this boy. You're talking Benke?
Benke.
Yeah, he's very good in the air, but he's also very skillful on the ground. He's just such a nicely built player for that type of game.
Because I thought maybe pace might have been one of his problems, and often if you're slow, sometimes at ground level, you're not so good.
He's not real quick.
Tell you what, the Norwich Rising Star Award, I don't know whether you're a judge of that, Kevin, but Brett Burton would be a big chance, wouldn't he?
I think you'll find he's too old.
Is he?
No, he does qualify.
Does he?
He does.
I'll check his age.
Are you a judge too, Curls?
Exactly.
Aha.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to get on. I reckon he's a living certainty in running.
Yes, because it was 4th to the 5th, 78, so he's under the 21 years of age before the start of the season.
Well, he's a certainty. Norwich Rising Star nominee will win. Brett Burton.
You're trying to influence the
you,
judges.
and you're very hard to influence.
Adam Good's a chance?
Yes, definitely, but I tell you what, for excitement, Brett Burton, you know who he outran then? Nathan Brown. And he just ran past him as if he was standing still to kick that goal. Mark Stevens, getting back to the football, has kicked it out wide. Garlick, tackled by McLeod. He's got the ball, and one wonders whether he did have the chance to get rid of it there, Simon Garlick. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt and will bounce. Adelaide lead by 25 points, 4 minutes left in the half. It has been a very good half of football by Adelaide. Bulldogs not able to get any sort of system going. Costa close to the boundary line. Burton squeezes it to Bickley. He's been pretty good. Mark Bickley. Leon Cameron.
Free kick, Benke.
Free kick to Benke.
Being held.
And look at the red, white and blue scarves in the southern stand being thrown. They're going crooked, that one.
Benke from half forward. Too far out to score, but lobs the ball in the danger zone. Gathered by James. Liberatore matching up on James. Burton in again. Tries to make his presence felt. Goes in after Brown.
Trip.
Now Liberatore. Is the free kick to Liber or maybe Nathan Brown?
Free kick was going to Nathan Brown. Liber was trying to gain an advantage by playing on. Scotty Wine's having a bit of a break. And Luke Darcy comes on for the Western Bulldogs.
And fellas, we do have a report on young Robbins. Just wind. He should be okay, according to the doctor. Yeah, winded.
Gee, you did well, Curls. You called that from 100 metres away. Well done.
Nathan Brown, he's at right half back. Lobs the ball past the wing. Grobran, disciplined punch. Pushes it back into the middle. Smith's hand pass, very good. Danny Southern streaming down the ground. Puts the pressure back on the Crows' defence. And the umpire's found a kick. It's going to the Bulldogs. Might be James Cook being held by Ben Hart in the marking contest.
Definitely there. He was hanging on.
Yep, no doubt. Free kick there to James Cook. This is the exact spot where he kicked his goal from before. So James Cook, he's booted 2 goals in this second term. And as we said before, he always looks like he's going to be a player. When he was first drafted by Carlton, they could have taken James Cook or Jason McCartney. They took James Cook because David Parkin said they thought he had Royce Hart-like qualities.
Poor. Big rap.
Winmar off for Hudson.
He hasn't quite fulfilled those thoughts. But I tell you what, he's kicked his 3rd goal in this game. And when you look at the replay, you wonder what Ben Hart was on about, because he really, both hands wrapped around the torso of James Cook. The umpire in a great position to see this, and just took him completely out of the contest, and the free kick awarded to the Bulldogs spearhead.
And if he didn't get the free kick, they could have given one to Chris Grant because he had a hand around his neck as well.
And Brad Johnson just in the foreground, number 6 back on the field, replacing Powell. So the Bulldogs have made a comeback in this quarter after being goalless in the first term. In this second, they've kicked 5 goals to 4. Darcy, but once again, if the Bulldogs win it in ruck, the Crows get the next touch.
Johnson and Hudson both goal kickers, and they did spend a fair bit of this second term on the bench.
So Adelaide's midfield have worked very well. The middle 4 getting it out of centre bounces. Darcy wins, but this time the Bulldogs get second touch. That was Dimatina. Croft, first quarter on the bench. Smith, hardly a touch. Cook, he actually knocked that through, or did it bounce through on Smith?
Through for a goal.
Oh, goal to Smith.
You just never know, do you, the shape of the ball. It's mystical sometimes.
Well, that's a miracle goal there to Rowan Smith. You see the ball taken by Rowan Smith, and this just bounces straight back over James Cook's head on the right angle. They've kicked 6 goals in this second term. They were goalless in the first quarter. So the Bulldogs now are are within 13 points.
Well, it was important then that they kicked a consecutive goal. Most times in the term that they've kicked the goal, the Crows have gone back and answered. Darcy doing pretty well at centre bounces, getting first touch. McLeod not able to gather, has a second chance. Burton run down by Darcy, but got his right foot to the ball in front of Nathan Brown. He'd be quite happy to run this over. Goes down the line, no. Just before he got the hand pass away, maybe he was over. Boundary umpire Johnny on the spot. We'll throw it in.
Gee, 50 times in a game you see blokes work to the line. That time he really tried to keep it in and couldn't quite.
Yes. Robran doing well. Got in front of Darcy on this occasion. Knocked it forward. Curley confronted by Smart. And the bump took Todd Curley and the football nearly over the boundary line. Brett James eventually with Scotty West has forced a boundary throw-in. Less than a minute left. There's that little pest, Liberatore, in and under, driving someone mad. Look at him, will you? Bumping, jumping. He's just a little beauty, isn't he? Competitive spirit of Tony Liberatore. You could put it into 22 blokes, by gee, you'd be just about unbeatable. Kick forward has been marked by Jarman. So with under 40 seconds left...
Gee, Robbo, sorry, Ian, that was a great mark by Jarman against two players.
Well, he just has that ability, doesn't he, to read the ball coming in. It was a quick kick.
What spin do you think he's going to put on the ball this time, Robbo?
I don't know, I can't see from this side. We had a terrific look from
he had
behind.
A fade last time.
Oh, yeah, well...
Be a bit of draw on this one.
I'd be looking to put it straight through the centre, actually. I would be going left or right.
Well, he'd be threes on, wouldn't he? I mean, he's just kicked so many goals here. And he's done it again.
Three's on and the good thing gets us.
Sorry if I sound so low-key when he gets it, but he's just terrific, I reckon.
He's a marvel. He's 4 marks, 5 kicks, 4 goals.
Yes, and he's kicked 2 goals in each quarter in this first half. 301 goals now for his career. He reached that milestone of 300 when he kicked his 3rd goal in this game. And certainly, he's in great form as Darren Jarman.
Margin back to 19 points with a late goal to Jarman. He's kicked 4 already in the first half. James, tackled by Liberatore.
While you're on that, Robbo, it would be interesting to have a kicking skill contest between, say, Jarman and Buckley.
Yeah, too true. Gee, it's hard to criticise either one of them, but I'd be on Darren Jarman, I think.
Only seconds left in the half, and probably won't have time for a mark from this one. The siren will probably go before Stenglein has his kick. And now he says, gee, I've got to kick it into the breeze, and the man on the mark is about 58 metres from goal.
Tall.
The tall man has come to stand the mark. He's gone the top. Oh, it's a great kick. He's got a score out of it.
It's a big kick, isn't it?
That is a mammoth kick. A behind. That is incredible. Young Tyson Stenglein playing just his 2nd game, a former WA captain at under-18s level. And that was a kick and a half.
That's his first score in AFL footy after the siren. It's a big kick.
Well, I was prepared to put down the Crows' final score before he kicked it. There you are.
Well, the Bulldogs, after a scoreless first quarter, came back with 6 in that term. But Adelaide kicked 5, and the margin is 20 points at half-time. Crowd settling back into their seats for the second half. Just a 20-point game, 9-7 to 6 goals 5. Can the Bulldogs come from behind again and win? But what about Adelaide's chances, girls?
Well, at this stage, they're looking very good. But just a brief chat with Malcolm Blight then on his way up. He said it's still only halfway there. But Darryl Hart said they were very, very pleased with Robran, Smart and McLeod's job on West in the middle, which I think is a very good effort at this stage. But, as you say, it's only halfway there.
Yeah, Scott West has had just 8 possessions in the first half, way down on his season average. Start of the second half here at the MCG. And all of a sudden it's become overcast and maybe even a threat of a bit of rain in the second half. Johnson rips it out of the middle, but good defensive mark taken back there by Stenglein. Sorry. The kick goes wide from defence. And Burton run down in the tackle by Garlick, and the ball over the line for a throw-in.
Well, the Bulldogs are just about the form side of the competition, apart from North Melbourne, who, of course, got defeated last week after winning 10 on the trot. But they've only lost one game in the last 9 themselves, the Western Bulldogs, and that included a draw, of course, against Hawthorn.
Bickley fighting hard for it. Johnson gets another tough ball out there. West needs to break free in the second half. Over his shoulder he goes. Powell with courage, and he wins a free kick. Bowled over by the youngster. Advantage. Martin gets it on to Hudson. Hudson runs it inside the 50. Should be a goal. That's a very disappointing kick by Paul Hudson. You put him down for a goal most times there, and he missed everything.
Yeah, the legs going 2-1, weren't they, with Paul Hudson? Goals looming up, and he missed by a big margin. So the Crows get the ball out to Smart, Stevens, and now it finishes with Johnson. Kane Johnson's kicked to full foot. Oh, he's a clever player. His skills, gee, they're fantastic, aren't they? Brett James in there with Steve Crediuk, but Darren Jarman.
He completes this mark between his legs.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, just to be able to control the ball.
Well, he's been his conversion rate has been 76% this season. We spoke about that earlier. He's kicked 49 goals, 14 for the season.
You would have seen last week, KB, also that Silvani's experience and strength was just a tad too much, but today the Bulldogs as yet haven't got a player to hold him.
Well, he's improving his percentage. He's kicked 4 straight so far in this game. He's now kicked 5 straight.
Well, that's a great start for the Adelaide Crows. And that man on screen is in superb form. It was, 6 goals against Geelong. It was 9, I think, against Melbourne in the losing side.
9 straight against Melbourne.
He's booted 5 straight today, and he kicked a couple of goals against Carlton. So he's nearly unstoppable at the moment.
Doesn't try to kick the ball too hard, does he? And
reminds me of Peter McKenna in that way. Peter McKenna never ever kicked the ball very hard.
No, well, I guess if you're confident that you can get the distance, why not?
Back in the middle, Wine this time beats Robran, but it goes to Burton. Ball held to him.
Drew, interchange for the Bulldogs. Darcy, Croft, Dimartino, Robbins, and for Adelaide, Herbert, Bassett, Edwards, Gallagher.
Yeah, Croft hasn't seen much action today, and you wonder just how well his hamstrings are. He's had problems with them for years. We saw them being worked on before it even come on the ground once.
Curley on Jarman, and Crediuk having a spell away from the champion Crows goal kicker.
I don't think Neil Curley could stop Jarman.
There are many ways.
Winmar, he's out, the ball's in. Well played by Nicky Winmar there. And Grant supporting. Oh, clever out the back door. Gee, they've worked this beautifully. Grant gets it from Johnson, and he's holding it.
Unfortunately, by slipping, he had the opportunity to get rid of the ball, and by slipping, just put him out of the contest. And then we see here, by balking, and then unfortunately going to ground, that's what cost him.
Well, 3-on-1 there for the Crows, but they still can't break away from that Bulldog half-forward line. Now they've got the chance. The kick came from Burton, lands the ball forward of the wing, and in front of McGregor and Danny Southern. The ball spills for a throw-in. Not quite up the right half-forward for Adelaide. 10-7 plays, 6-5. Early in the third term, 14 kicks and 2 hand passes to Brett Burton. He has been sensational in this game. Knocked away by Wine, quite effectively too. Into the path of Scotty West, tries to get the hand pass back. James and his antagonist, Liberatore.
Well worth watching the duel with Turley and Jarman as well, because Todd Curley a few weeks back played on Tony Modra and did a magnificent job. So let's see if he can take out another gun forward.
Scotty Wine tries to take the ball out of the air from the boundary throw-in, unsuccessful. Just gives his right fist into his left hand, a little frustrated there.
There's Todd Curley. He's now been given the job with Stephen Crediuk. It's been taken away from Darren Jarman after booting 5 goals.
Gee, big psych Darren Jarman's got on the opposition now with 5 goals straight from just 7 kicks. The ball forward for the Bulldogs, Grant. Knocked away by Jamison. In turn, Ormond Allen. Wide to Burton. Burton from right half back. Kicks the ball down towards the wing. Punched away by Cameron. Spillage is gathered by West. Back onto his right. Kicks the ball in towards half forward. No one home for the Bulldogs. Ormond Allen to Smart. Smart runs through the half-back line, then arrogantly bounces the ball, kicks it forward. Good distance with the kick. The umpire's found a free kick. It goes to Adelaide.
McGregor, is it?
Wants a mark anyway to Jarman.
Or Jarman. He's going to give it to
McGregor's
McGregor.
free kick. Did Jarman mark the ball, did he?
Yeah, does a relayed free kick take precedence over a mark completed?
Yes, he paid the mark before
Paid the free kick before he marked the ball.
Paid the free kick, sorry, yeah.
Blown the whistle.
The first decision was the free kick.
But actually, they should have 2 shots for goal.
Ah, yes. Only if it's Adelaide, Curls.
Gee, do you want any more advantages, Curls?
Curls, is this as good as you've seen Nigel Smart play this year?
Oh, I think so. It's one of his top games.
McGregor going for his 4th career goal.
Should've
Misses
paid
to the
mark.
left.
Should've paid the
Exactly.
mark.
That penalised the side.
You've got to pay the first free kick, though.
Exactly.
But I just think Nigel Smart's been fantastic today. He's had the old dash back. He's had the arrogance back. You can see midfield there. He wants to take on players. I don't know whether it's been a fitness thing or not, Curls, but he looks like he's more pumped up today than I've seen him all year.
Certainly playing a great game. That's a good mark, that boy.
That's
mark,
50
McGregor.
metres tonight, isn't it?
Well, he missed his shot at goal and bounced back with a terrific mark less than 30 seconds later. Vardy just outside the 50. Now they're working with a breeze here, not beyond the realms that somebody could launch into one and kick a goal.
And Drew, this boy's normally a goal kicker.
Sure is.
To date, the umpire flag, the goal flags have not gone up for him.
Centering the ball inside to Johnson, and he unloads and scores!
What a good kick.
Well, that was some kick there by Kane Johnson. And we can remember his performances in the grand final last year. He was an outstanding player. And that ball there was passed off by Peter Vardy, who Curls mentioned to us as a big kick. But this is not a bad kick from Kane Johnson as well, Curls.
Well, this boy's a quality player. He's just had trouble this year with his legs, and we haven't seen a lot of him.
Oh, Kane Johnson kicking a goal from outside 60 metres. A youngster recruited from Eastern Rangers here in Melbourne over to Adelaide, and he's played in 2 premierships.
Saw a leg, Robin.
McLeod couldn't get rid of it. Here's Smart again. Has been Smart today. A high ball. Jarman, oh, how good. He was almost looking for somebody to outleap him. Would I stay down or would I go for it myself? Chest marked it.
I thought he actually, what he did, Drew, was that by just slowing down his momentum, he just stopped Curley, put Curley into 2 minds. What Curley didn't think he was going to go for the ball originally, I don't reckon. And as a result, Jarman then sort of got that extra second on him and then decided he'd go for the ball and put Curley out of the contest.
Yep. Yeah, you rarely see a bloke take a mark when he's taken his eyes off it clearly a couple of times when the ball's in transit.
Hey,
And,
go on, Curl, sorry.
And Robin's in a bit of trouble in the middle. From Adelaide's point of view, I'd like to think he can continue.
Is it an ankle?
Just in the right leg, though. I think he got a sprig from Wine in the ruck contest.
Jarman for his 6th straight.
Poked out
He missed it. Well, that's the first goal he's missed in his last 2 games at the MCG, and prior to that he'd kicked 14 straight.
11-9 to 6-5. It's a 34-point margin in favour of Adelaide. So you start wondering now, where are the Bulldogs going to kick the goals to create a winning score? They've now got to outscore the Crows by 6 goals in the remaining quarter and 13 minutes.
Can't see it happening.
It just is not happening, is it? And you just look at the questions as to where they're going to get it from. West, grabbed by McLeod. Crediuk takes the hand pass, then kicks in towards full forward. Is it going down the ground? Now, I didn't quite see whether Crediuk was interfered with after he kicked the ball.
He was interfered with.
But James Cook is going to shoot for goal. He's kicked 3. Darren Jarman has kicked 5. And they are the only multiple goal kickers in this match. Crediuk, geez, right leg strapped all the way from the ankle right up above the knee. Steve Crediuk, he's had a lot of trouble with the calf of that right leg. And you see there, just taken to the ground as he got the kick away. So James Cook from about 40 metres. First 2 goals of this 3rd term kicked by the Crows, but Cook gets one back for the Bulldogs. 4 goals to James Cook. He's doing his job to try and lift his side. The Bulldogs 7-5 trail Adelaide 11-9.
Full forwards at both ends strutting their stuff. We see Stephen Credial there. That is some bandage he's got on his leg there, Stephen Credial. But James Cook is now booted 4, 3 in that second term. Still a pretty good kick this. He was right on 50. So he got that a good 55 to 60 metres. It's a thumping kick. Gives some hope to the Bulldogs.
Margin back to 28 points after Cook's 4th goal for the Bulldogs. Wine probably getting on top now in the ruck. Down to Johnson. Out of the air by Garlick. Oh, Lux of fortune. Straight to Winmar.
There's a duel here, a match-up with Liberatore and James. Now, the Crows wouldn't mind that because James is not a real breakaway player. He's a burrower, the same as Libba, so that wouldn't affect the Crows.
Well, can Nicky Winmar repeat Cook's effort? Into the goal square, hasn't quite got the distance. Rowan Smith there to Rove. Brown! Oh, touched by Grant, and that's a behind. It wouldn't have gone through for a goal, didn't have the height from Brown.
Question without notice, Kevin. Rowan Smith, All-Australian halfback flanker.
Really struggled today. He's
not
one of the
getting
players.
much in the forward line, is he?
No, he's only had the 5 possessions. And the Bulldogs will need him to lift because he's such an important player. Paul Hudson also has been below his best today. He's had the ball a few times, but he just hasn't kicked the goals, and that's what he's noted for.
Gee, big punch forward by Brett Montgomery. Johnson is smart. Smart fended off the tackler. Bulldogs feel as though it was unfair, but Smart has gone on with the ball.
Should have been a free kick.
To the middle of the ground. Here's a goal coming up for Adelaide. Andrew McLeod in towards full forward. Jarman couldn't control the football. James at the fall of the ball. Curley, good tackle by James. The ball goes over for a throw-in. What's that for? Deliberate.
Deliberate. I think we might see that vision later too. The free kick should have gone to Montgomery because Nigel Smart...
He's coming off with the blood. He got one right in the goal.
And caught him with the forearm or some part of his arm. And he's coming off with the blood rule. And if we have a look at this on vision, you'll see the free kick should have been paid. Because he was taken high.
He's not happy about it either.
So he's got a whack in the mouth then?
Yeah.
I think the forearm or the elbow as he fended him off, and therefore it's a free kick.
Well, it could be even worse than that if they have a look at the video.
Well, we might see it ourselves in a moment.
Well, James kicks the ball to the front of the goals. Nigel Smart is marked.
He's played a great game. He'll get in the boost, but let's have a look at this free kick that should have been paid. Now you can see there the right arm fending off Montgomery, hitting him in the head, and as a result that free kick should have been to Montgomery, and here he is now having a shot at the other end of the ground.
Played a great game, this boy, though. He's been a launching bat off that half-back line.
17 possessions he's had with his 18th. Could kick a goal, which will be just what Adelaide will be looking for, and he kicks accurately. Nigel Smart's first goal in the game, and they keep rolling on. Every time the Bullies make a thrust, Adelaide seem to have an answer.
Yes, it's been a pretty impressive performance today by Adelaide. Last week in the 3rd quarter they got overran by Carlton, but they've come out with plenty of purpose, and when you've got guys in their best form, Jarman playing well, Smart playing very well, only need 2 or 3, makes a big difference.
3 goals in this 3rd quarter to the Crows, and the Bulldogs have managed just 1. So it's a pretty handy break now. Wine takes clean possession, gets a 20-metre hand pass away. Costa used to be a teammate of Wine's. Back over his shoulder. Good punch from behind by Curley. Fight at ground level. Brad Johnson. James had it jolted out of his arms. Costa again.
There is no doubt in my mind that I think quite a few of these Bulldog boys approach this game in a far different frame of mind than last week against the Kangaroos.
So do you call it a hangover? Do you build yourself up so hard for one game it can't quite come up again?
Exactly, it's called a mental.
Obviously, yep.
Over the shoulder, Adelaide free kick to Costa. Costa to McLeod. Garlick hasn't got his eyes on the ball. McLeod the mark. And he could do anything from here. He could run round the man on the mark or kick it a mile to the goal square.
He doesn't overplay his individual stuff. He'll pass it off.
That's good to Benke. Perfect delivery by McLeod.
Not big stats, Andrew McLeod, but he's had an impact, hasn't he? 9 possessions.
He's been clean, hasn't he?
And he's kicked the goal.
And he's kept West down to a minimum.
Yeah, Scotty West, he's had the 14 possessions, but no real impact so far on the game. He's picked up possessions, but they haven't been telling so far.
Brian Benke from about 49 metres. Well, he starts at left. The breeze gets hold of it. That's a goal.
Well, he was a goal kicker. He was with Port Adelaide, Curls, wasn't he?
Exactly right. He's the game before he came into the Crows last week, he kicked 6 goals, 0 for Port Adelaide. He's a very good forward.
Well, he was in good form. He had Koutafidis taken off him last week too. I was impressed with him, particularly in the first quarter and a half. In the second half, he struggled a little bit, as did all of his teammates. But obviously, he's got a good pair of hands and he can kick straight. And that's an advantage if you play as a forward.
And what you're looking at up in that Crows forward line is 3 first-year players in Binky, McGregor and Burton.
And they're all, 2 of them are pretty good size, aren't they?
My word.
Garlick takes the ball away from the centre bounce and kicks directly towards goal. Cook has taken the mark, but the umpire's found a free kick to Adelaide. It'll go to Ben Hart, and Cook just getting rid of his opponent before the ball had arrived. Short kick taken by Vardy. Gee, leaving it behind there was that Jamison. And the Bulldogs have hit the post. Rowan Smith.
Not much going right for Rowan Smith at the moment. Did kick a goal in the second quarter. That handball was just a bit too close. Couldn't get a sighting of it. Unfortunately for the Crows coming away then, it was just too short.
Ben Hart has the football. Sun shining brightly. Clouds have drifted in overhead, but no rain likely at the moment, and certainly very good football conditions. Look at that kick by McLeod. Oh, gee, you'd love to be on the end of that, wouldn't you? And he's got such precision, hand or foot passing.
Well, we saw Benke kick a goal. Pretty much the same situation he's in now. He may have been a tad closer.
Well, he fancies himself and he goes back and kicks it. I tell you what, it's nearly, no, touched right on the line.
It was just that extra metre, wasn't he?
Now, interesting history, this young fella, Port Adelaide to start with. Looks as though he played with North Melbourne Reserves.
The Reserves, yeah, had a season with North Melbourne Reserves.
And just couldn't break through and went back to Port Adelaide to, well, I guess, gain confidence and play a bit more senior footy, eh?
He's not a young man. He's not a young
24
man.
curls.
That's correct.
185 centimetres, so he's a good size. I just saw him being congratulated after he kicked the last goal by Darren Jarman. Looks a similar build to Jarman.
Actually, here's trouble.
Vardy, go Drew.
Costa on the 50, goes up short. Jarman out wide in the pocket. Didn't even have time to look. Puts it right to the goal line, but Nathan Brown's back there to mark. Now they can go to the southern stand side, the Bulldogs. Curley. Liberatore. Nicky says leave it. Winmar takes the mark. Shocking hand pass. Scotty West. Not your fault you haven't got the footy. Burton's got it. Goodwin. Gee, the Bulldogs were terrible there. Curley gets back to take the mark. Now this time to the members' side. No, he switches again to the southern. And this is just ringa rosy. Dimatina just peeling off to get loose. Garlick. Grant leads from half forward. Chris Grant under a bit more pressure, but he's a mile from goal.
Done a pretty good job, Mark Stevens and Chris Grant.
Very good.
Just disciplined.
He's coming off a big game against North Melbourne with his BOG.
Well, Stevens has been really good in all the games I've seen him play this year.
Yeah, he's had a variety of roles too, all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen him at centre half forward. That might have been touched off the boot. Good play on. It doesn't matter. It's taken by Burton. He's kicked to half forward. Goodwin had it spent before he got it. Good running by Vardy. This should be a Crows goal. Jarman. Now it should be a goal.
It's amazing the difference when you watch a lot of forwards with their movement. Tony Modra was criticised a lot of times by leading far too early. Jarman waits for, like Dunstall, the exact moment to launch his lead.
It's all to do with timing, isn't it, Curl?
It certainly is.
No matter where you are. It's even like getting a crumb. You try and explain to people. You've got to time your run to the pack to get the crumb.
Exactly.
And he has timed his kicks today too. Just like that.
I think he missed.
He has missed to the left-hand side, so after kicking 5 straight, he's now got 5-2.
But the Bulldogs just don't seem to get any method or run in their game at all. They're just stymied. They have a little bit of a movement, then a turnover happens, and back the ball comes again.
In the paper yesterday, Curls, over 39.5. You could have got Adelaide $14.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I tell you what, if you've had a bet, you'd be barracking like blazers at the moment. They lead 13-11 to 7-7, and that's a margin of 40 points.
So you would have won money, would you?
Well, if they can keep going, you'd win $14 for every dollar you put on.
When you bet like that, every goal, even in a one-sided game, is vital.
Martin.
Great play by Costa.
Ball just spills away from Rowan Smith and Ormond Allen.
Terrific defensive play there by that man on screen, Kim Costa. Didn't get way up free kick. He got a hand to this ball. Look at this. That is fantastic defensive play.
Boundary throw in, left forward pocket for the Bulldogs. MCG bathed in sunshine now. Johnson dispossessed. Rowan Smith should kick a goal here. Doesn't mind that. Hooks the kick too far in the finish and scores a behind.
Not quite his day so far for Rowan Smith, but he's such a dangerous player. If he starts getting his hands on the ball, he's a goal kicker. He carries the ball well, and usually he's a good finisher. So if he starts getting a few touches, you can expect him to kick a few goals.
Kick in has been taken by Ormond Allen. He goes out wider still to McLeod. He's just outside his defensive 50. Making position down the ground is Burton, but he goes shorter still to Costa. And Costa keeps possession for Adelaide. So from about 3 kicks from the kick in, they've still got the football. Oh, he's done it again! He is an absolute jack-in-the-box.
You let him jump, this boy. You allow him to jump, he'll jump.
Brett Burton. Well, after what we saw at half-time, that is not even close to being a candidate. That's ordinary.
With the marks he's taken this year, we'll claim this as just being a chess mark, I reckon. You couldn't rate it any higher than a normal chess mark for him, could you?
Absolute freak.
In fact, he probably wouldn't even put that down as a mark.
Throw in. 4 minutes remaining to three-quarter time. Smart hoists it high. Jarman waits at the back this time. And he's a bit of a show. He's still a show. Well, Vardy burrows his way through. Benke caught in a good tackle by Dimatina. Ball held to him, and that'll be a ball up.
Well, they'd be very happy, the Crows, with the fight at ground level that time by Jarman and also by Benke. Just retaining the ball about 25 metres out from goal.
Close chance here for the Crows to get another one. West, this is dangerous. Wind, little toe poke towards the boundary line. And he'll be happy with that. Well, I know last week that many people said, oh, the Kangaroos could afford that loss, but the Bulldogs can't afford a loss here today, because if they lose today, they could lose 4th spot to Brisbane. And top 4 means a home final. So it's either you play a final in Melbourne, or you maybe have to go to, say, Brisbane to play a final.
Yeah, fair point, and I'm sure that the Bulldogs administration would be aware of that, and there's just nothing they can do. I mean, Adelaide have been quite disciplined all over the ground. Croft has the football wide at half forward, kicks the ball to within scoring range. Now that's a free kick against the Bulldogs again. Cook thinks he's going to get it.
He might
He's going back to take the kick.
He might give 50.
Wind off. Darcy on.
I'm sure James Cook thinks he's getting the ball.
So there's 50 metres.
He can't believe it. He can't believe it.
He can't believe it. But the umpire blew the whistle. And Paul Hudson, without knowing the free kick was going against, continued on after the umpire blew the whistle, had a look over his shoulder and then kicked it through for a goal.
I'll tell you what, he's got an 85-metre penalty.
So the umpire, therefore, got him for 50.
The free kick was made, the decision was made, about 30 metres out directly in front of the Bulldogs' goal, and it's gone forward to the centre.
Like to buy land off this umpire.
Well, Ben Hart will kick Adelaide into attack. Vardy, oh, gee, was half a chance there. Curley comes away for the Bulldogs, kicks it out wide. Dimatina, who's been very much a possession gatherer for the Bulldogs, nearly run down by Nigel Smart, gets the kick away. Rowan Smith, good mark. the only positive, real positive move from Rowan Smith so far. Ormond Allen has been very closely attending the midfield of Rowan Smith. Rowan Smith's kick to the front of the square. Croft couldn't take the mark. Ben Hart just quite straightforwardly takes the ball away. Robran. Now Johnson for Adelaide. Gets good distance again. Benke running with the bouncing ball, then just let himself down a little. He had half a yard to spare there. Yeah. Maybe could have straightened up a little and kicked it to the front of the square, but out on the full.
I don't know if you believe in body language here, boys, but the Bulldogs' body language out here is just terrible. There's no enthusiasm amongst them.
Well, they haven't got too many winners, Curls, and you need at least a couple of winners to sort of keep generating that enthusiasm.
And after their 7-goal victory over the Kangaroos last week, here he comes again, the Birdman.
Magnificent, isn't he? I think I'll just go to the footy to watch him.
Burton drives it to the top of the square. Brown thought, I'll join in this race. Jarman! Oh, pity. His last 3 shots have all been behinds. That was so good the way he won that footy. Here's Burton again. It's not mark of the year, it's probably mark of the day.
He's a Collingwood 6-footer, isn't he, Curls? 5'11"?
He's
5'11"?
That's no, he's 6'1".
6'1".
6'1".
So you reckon he's 185?
I don't know what that means. That's Chinese language.
183. 183 is 6 foot.
Well, he's 185.
Oh, we'll have a look.
Waiting for an update, Kev.
They've got him at 182, which makes him a Collingwood 6-footer.
Crediuk, West, in turn to Johnson. Still behind the actual centre line. Now they're forward of it with Powell. Powell's kick is pretty good. Gives Smith the chance to run. Gets back onto his left. Bounce it quickly. You might have run too far. Left foot shot. Very good, Rowan Smith. That's better from the Bulldogs.
Well, I just mentioned before that he was just starting to get his hands on the ball, Rowan Smith. And if he does, he'll kick goals. He'd kick 24 coming into the season. He's a very good goal kicker. Kicked 24 goals, 13. And all of a sudden, he's getting his hands on the ball. He's kicked a couple of goals. Unfortunately, hit the post as well. And another miss. So he is a dangerous player. And, well, long way to go in this game.
Importantly, it was a clean possession by Powell that enabled the kick to come in.
Brett Montgomery back running the boundary line after having his face patched up. Darcy wins in the middle. Another goal here before 3/4 time. Be pretty handy for the Bulldogs. There's the margin, 34 points. Whistle's gone. A throw seen in the middle there. Crows free kick.
That's the 3rd one against the Bulldogs.
They've been throwing it a bit today. Burton takes it to Robran. Well, nobody went with him. Smart. Caught and a good tackle by West.
Why isn't he rewarded?
Curley intercepts. 30 seconds remaining in the quarter. Kick by Curley to Johnson. Didn't reach him. Ball knocked away. Comes to Costa. Johnson. Kane Johnson for the Crows. Across the ground to Vardy. Peter Vardy just behind the wing. Now told to play on. Kicks inside the 50. Benke is there. Good mark.
It is a good mark because the siren will probably sound to end 3/4 time.
Well, in this quarter, he's kicked one out of bounds. He kicked a goal from outside 50 and was a centimetre short on another one just outside 50.
Well, he'll make the distance on those 2 great kicks that he had out here on the wing in front of the old smoker stand here at the MCG. So the distance shouldn't worry him, Drew.
This for their 5th goal of the quarter, and he steers it through.
Well, it's 2 goals for the quarter, and it does look like he's a pretty good kick, Benke. Looks like he might be a bit of a dead-eyed dick. Is that his history also, Curls? Curls is on his way out, obviously, to the boundary line there to listen to the coaches, but he looks like he's a very good kick, and that's what you've got to do, and it's good to see a young player come into the game and finish off his work.
Well, that was very important. A goal after the siren, as it was going down the Bulldogs' way. That's a 12-point swing in the last 30 seconds there, and all of a sudden it's a 40-point lead to the Adelaide Crows going into the last term. Final quarter about to get underway. It would need to be a barnstorming finish by the Bulldogs if they were to get up and win. They trail by 40. Darcy wins in the middle, Wind on the bench. West gets the first kick of the quarter. It bounces to Hudson. He concedes ground to Powell. Stephen Powell's been a good player this year. He approaches the 50, goes long, great kick. That's a really good goal, just what they needed.
And that boy certainly has had a terrific season. Formerly of St Kevin's, he's been averaging 21 possessions a game. He's got 15 possessions so far, and he's kicked the goal now. That's a great kick. Probably hasn't quite had the influence as a number of his Bulldog teammates throughout the course of the game, but to get up off the ground, to run away, and then from outside 50, bang it through. It's just the start they need, the Bulldogs. We know they can kick goals quickly. Good play, wasn't it, by Stephen Powell, and certainly from a Bulldog angle, an important early goal of the last term. They still trail by 34 points. Centre clearance is very important. Burton couldn't get away. Scotty West gets it out wider. Powell, opportunity for Darcy. His kick is a bit of an up and under, and it's well marked by Southern. Takes a good mark, Danny Southern. Not a real tall player, but certainly stands his ground quite nicely. The kick across the half-forward line, and Costa hand passes away to Burton. Burton, 26 possessions. His kick, well done, Robbins. You played on. And Matthew Robran able to lock the ball in with Luke Darcy, the tackler. Robbins just a little stiff. His momentum carrying him forward. Not able to break the tackle. Stephen Crediel has also gone back onto Darren Jarman, fullback. So the bounce of the ball on centre wing favours Luke Darcy. Not able to take the ball away. Underneath all that is Powell. Umpire will bounce.
Robbo, interchange for the Bulldogs. Garlick, Montgomery, Wind, and Martin. And for Adelaide, Herbert, Bassett, Edwards, Gallagher.
Starting to stutter in your old age curls.
Wind.
Well,
KB Wind.
It's worth recounting. Wind, 10 possessions, just 1 mark, 3 tackles and 7 hit-outs. Robran's had 7 hit-outs as well. And interesting, last week Wind had 37 hit-outs around the ground. DiMartina's kick, good work by Hudson. Looked as though he was just about going to get under the ball, but at full stretch he got it. Some good early signs here for the Bulldogs. If Hudson kicks this, 2 quick goals in the first 2.5 minutes of the last term. Darcy now is doing some of the ruck work.
Just may ignite the flame, KB.
It could, because we do know they keep on coming.
So Hudson from 35 metres, another one to the Dogs. And that's his first goal for the day.
Well, they've been stung into action. I think their first 3 quarters were a little lethargic, but good signs at the start of the final quarter.
Well, if you're an Adelaide supporter, you'd like to see a goal now, just a steadying goal, which sort of gets things back on keel. But the Bulldogs, this centre bounce is going to be now very important. Darcy obviously fired up in the ruck. They've got all their forwards starting way back deep into the forward line. As soon as they bounce the ball, they run forward.
It looks like Tyson Edwards has come on for his first run in this match.
Replaced England.
28 points is the margin in favour of Adelaide. Darcy has done pretty well at the centre bounces. That bounce awkward, but Bickley made it very nicely. Costa kicks across his left shoulder. Again, awkward bounce. Croft able to gather at the back of the pack. He goes across the half-back line. And Paul DiMartina probably made an error there. Just a half a yard could have made the difference. He may have been able to pick it up on the half volley. Allowing it to bounce made it awkward, and eventually a throw-in will take place. Left half-forward flank region for Adelaide. Darcy again, an important fist to the ball. Goodwin caught by Brown. Bit stiff, Nathan Brown, that he never got a free kick there. Careful, Libby, you want a Brownlow. You want umpire's mates, aren't you?
He was just demonstrating. He reckons he tucked the ball under his arm and tried to crash his way through.
Pretty good tackle, actually.
I think Libby's correct, too.
Should have nearly been rewarded, yep. Well, the umpires bounced the ball again. Darcy down to James. Wider still, Bickley. Bickley's kick, he's had 17 possessions. Kicks the ball to half-forward, taken by Croft. Scotty West has made good position out on that far wing. Very important bounce. Costa will run him down, but West does well. He's got to keep the ball there. He's still a chance. Very well done. He spotted Dimatina. In turn to Powell. Can he get his second goal in the space of 3 or 4 minutes? The kick by Powell goes in awkwardly through the air. It's over on the full. Free kick for Adelaide in their right back pocket.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wasted opportunity there. I think he got caught in two minds whether to go to the square or have a ping at it. But probably just had that memory of kicking that great opening goal this term.
KB, it's amazing how many players, once they've had the second bounce, they do get confused.
28 points the difference as Stevens kicks in. Punch forward by Darcy, deep inside the 50. Cook. A bit of a fumble by Winmar. It hasn't been one of Nicky's great days. He's had one kick, 4 hand passes. And the umpire will ball this up right in front and about 25 to 30 metres from goal.
Spent a bit of time on the interchange bench. Started on the bench too, Nicky Winmar.
Yeah. Clean possession, Darcy. Up and down the mine shaft. It's going nowhere. Knocked out by Robrin towards the line. Dogs want it in. Crows wouldn't mind it out. Edwards, it's smothered over the line.
96 plays, 68.
Going back
16
to those,
minutes left. Go, Curls.
Robbo, going back to those Winmar stats, 3 of those handballs have been terrible.
Yes, there was one set Robbins up to be crunched, and there was another one which, again, didn't hit its mark. So you're right there, Curls. Not really good with a clean possession so far.
Darcy doing pretty well. Ben Hart gets the hand pass away to Matthew Robrin. Across the full back line, it's taken by Jamieson. Jamieson's left foot kick is very skillfully done as well. And underneath that was Mark Stevens. And I repeat, he has done a very good job just running with Chris Grant. Grant's teammates really haven't given him all that many positive chances to gather the ball, but Mark Stevens has been right up alongside Chris Grant every opportunity. McLeod kicks the ball into the forward 50. Croft can't break away. Danny Southern grabbed by the leg, must get a free kick. 50-metre penalty, yep. Well, Danny knows the rules.
Actually, Robert, the player swap there at the start of the year with last year with Stevens and McCartney has both worked well for the clubs because McCartney's doing a pretty good job for North Melbourne, or for Kangas.
Yeah, fair statement there, Curls. Jason McCartney has resurrected his career, I think. Kick by Danny Southern's pretty good. Johnson running with the ball, kicks inaccurately. Just when the Bullies could have done with another conversion there, Brad Johnson with a bit of space, just a fraction more time, missed to the right rather emphatically in the finish.
Well, we've played just on 8 minutes into this final quarter, and the Crows haven't scored.
And the Bulldogs having all the play. 27 the margin. Here's Nigel Smart, 20 disposals. Out to centre wing. Burton, well, he was turning nearly before he took the mark. So he was lucky that he wasn't pinned there. Actually, a fair dinkum tackle, he might have been. Burton to the middle of the ground. McLeod, I'm not going to say what Cornsey said about him a couple of weeks ago, with the ball bouncing around shin height. Go down as one of the all-time classics in AFL commentary. Cook goes short. Rowan Smith, getting better as the game goes. Smith, goal!
Well, he's booted 4 goals, or 3 goals. 3 goals now to Rowan Smith. He's a bit upset there with Trent Orman-Allen, who's been playing on him all day. But there's definite signs now in this last quarter that the Bulldogs are within 21 points, that this game could be theirs for the taking.
No doubt about that, Kevin. There's plenty of time left, and still players pushing and shoving on the half-forward line for the Bulldogs. James Cook, Rowan Smith, Ben Hart, Mark Stevens. So the emergency umpire out to talk to Rowan Smith and Trent Ormond-Allen after Rowan Smith has kicked a goal to pull the Bulldogs back to within 21 points of the Crows. Bickley, McLeod, directly towards goal. The pass out in front of Jarman. Back there is Croft, doing a pretty good job on the full back line, Matthew Croft. Shrugs the tackle, attempted by Peter Vardy. Look at this. Darcy on his own, gives the hand pass away to West. May have surrendered the ball there, Scotty West. The kick towards Cook. Cook able to get back onto his feet, not able to get the hand pass away, and the umpire will bounce.
There's a bit more bounce in the Bulldogs step here now. They're all over the ground. They're starting to look a lot better.
Crows missed a golden opportunity. Then McLeod went short to Jarman, and Binky was standing in the goal square by himself, 20 metres clear of anyone, and he just didn't spot him.
James off and Gallagher on for the Crows.
Crowd of 27,700. So there's an article written in the Herald Sun this morning about dwindling attendances at the MCG. There's another one under 30. You know, top 4 side against the Premiers, you'd have to be disappointed with 27. Comes to Johnson, gets a little toe poke to it. Darcy did well, he worked, his second effort was good. Liberatore gets it going the Bulldogs' way. Under pressure was Bickley, the skipper. Oh, here's Cameron on the 50. Chance for Dimatina, but he's missed it. Hands go straight to his head. Out of bounds on the full.
Actually, that's the third very good forward thrust that they've missed in this last 5 minutes.
It has been. Brad Johnson shot earlier that he missed. Could have nearly converted. Paul Dimatina there just didn't quite lift his head.
No, not quite, Robbo. The Crows need a goal just to stop the momentum, because it's full-on momentum now for the Bulldogs. Great effort by Grant.
Oh, wasn't it ever? Little hand pass. Scotty West can't break away. Tries to get it to Liberatore. Run down by Costa. Spills for McLeod. West can't get a hold of Andrew McLeod. His hand pass. Further afield for Johnson. In turn, Bickley's caught. Got the hand pass away. Spilt to Winmar. Back to Powell. Powell pretty good because he effected a tackle. This bloke doesn't mind finishing a kick. Towards goal, Rowan Smith has missed to the right.
All of a sudden, he looks pretty dangerous, Rowan Smith. He's kicked 3 goals, 3 now, after being kickless in that first quarter and hardly touching the ball in the first half. He kicked a goal in that second quarter, but one of his rare touches. But now 3-3, he looks very dangerous.
20 points the margin in favour of Adelaide.
And the Bulldogs' pressure, of course, causing turnovers.
Yes, well, it's been 3 goals, 2 in this quarter to nothing. Powell. Too far out to score. Good long kick. Johnson with a climb. It's there for Darcy, but rushed through for a behind. So they're just outside 3 goals. And there's plenty of time left, nearly 12 minutes left. If this momentum is maintained for the rest of the game, they could get up and pinch this game from 40 points down at 3/4 time.
Well, a little bit with Kevin, because they've just got to hold the Crows out. If the Crows get a goal against the flow, they might snuff the Bullies out. Stevens kicks the ball long out towards the wing. Mark taken by Grant. Plays on quickly. Powell's been instrumental. He's had about 7 possessions already. Cook! He's got the ball, and he's certainly within scoring range.
Well, he's booted 4 goals. 3 of them came in the first half, 1 in that third quarter. Interesting to note that they've only played twice at the MCG, both games in preliminary finals, and Adelaide has won both those games. So the Bulldogs looking for a little bit of history if they can get up from 40 points down and beat Adelaide at the MCG.
Stephen Powell, 7 possessions, 1 mark, and kicked a goal already in this last quarter, which still has 11 minutes to run. This is a very important kick. If the previous 2 or 3 chances were important, they went begging. Cook must kick a goal. He does. 5 goals.
Well, I mentioned to you early in the game that every time you see James Cook, every now and then, he shows you enough for you to suggest that he should be a very, very good player, because he can play at a very high standard. And as a result, if he can just get a little bit more consistent, he'll be a big help to the Bulldogs as they make their move towards the finals. Raw's really going around the ground now. This last quarter, they've kicked 4 goals, 3 to the Adelaide side, no score.
The Bulldogs have been inside 50 11 times to 4 in this last quarter, and they haven't even converted it on the scoreboard. They've missed, they've kicked out of bounds, but the Crows are scoreless. Dimatina under pressure, inside half forward, plenty of dogs there. It comes down to Smith, Johnson, Brad Johnson, just offline.
Well, it's as if the Crows have gone home. All of a sudden, they can't win the ball. They've lost that bounce now, Curls.
Yeah, Darcy's done very well in the centre.
He has.
Short kick has been marked by Edwards in the right back pocket. Just 2 kicks, the margin now in favour of Adelaide. 2 straight kicks, of course. Edwards. Oh, it's a mark. Powell again. Got to be paid, doesn't he?
Well,
Gee,
he
it
has
was a
been quite
desperate
sensational,
lunge.
hasn't he?
Oh, look, I think his 10 minutes has been inspirational, Kevin, hasn't it?
Well, generally you need some player to stand up. He kicked that first goal in this last quarter. He's just passed this ball off here to Scotty West, but he has been the inspiration behind this comeback for the Bulldogs.
Stephen Powell on screen there. 8 possessions already. Hand pass by Scotty West off to the long kicking Cook. And he looks as though he's missed everything, has he? Yes. So Mark Stevens will take the free kick in the right back pocket. James Cook trying to get the ball the long distance required, but no accuracy on that occasion.
He's kicked 5 goals, but he's kicked 3 out of bounds on the full as well.
They're back in the self-doubt area, the Crows. They're really self-doubting themselves now.
Gee, it's the open side of the ground now, the smoker stand side. And they dash to fill up a few holes. Edwards still at half-back. Bulldogs fans have found some voice. The kicks need to be precise, and McLeod won't let them down on precision. Smart. They still haven't got it to the centre yet. And further wide to the wing. That's just to the centre. Robert. Vardy. Oh, good mark. He wanted to go.
Important Curley got hold of his jumper then.
Very true, he held him up.
Well, if he kicks it to the goal square, which he's not, we might see a big mark by Brett Burton.
This bloke will kick it to the square, won't he?
He'll kick it to the square. What we need is Burton to get well back and get a big run at it.
Where is he?
He's down there.
Doesn't want to give it too much height, though, because it is into the breeze.
He'll kick it in the crowd if he gets onto it.
I'll turn it up. Well, that's the best he could do, and it's 20 metres short, girls. Here's a chance. Jarman. There's Burton at ground level. A snap. Their first score for the quarter. It's into the behind post, so there's no score.
Little confusion there for the Bullies too on the last line of defence. One of them could have taken a clean mark. Matthew Robbins, I think it was, just chipping in. Misunderstanding there. Boundary throw in, right forward pocket for Adelaide. Danny Southern gets a big right fist to it, but McLeod is onto it. Liberatore to just put him under that bit of pressure that was necessary for his kick to go astray, and it's marked by Todd Curley. Curley goes short, prepared to back themselves. Danny Southern with the ball. He's going to have to be precise here. He's looking for Johnson, not able to take the mark. Now the race is on. Johnson puts some pressure on. Well done by Jamison. In turn, Jarman. In turn, McGregor.
Ooh.
Run down by Danny Southern. Was that too fierce?
Too high.
I think he's been unlucky there, Danny Southern,
Sure
because
was.
McGregor slipped, and of course it took him under the tackle.
Well, the fact that you're not allowed to take a player in the face, you can't take him high. That's why he got the free kick. As long as he didn't duck into it on purpose, he'll always pay the free kick.
So the 18-year-old with a famous name, Ken McGregor, goes out wide. Edwards has the ball.
On Davis Cup weekend.
That's it. And we got off to a great start there too. The smother at fullback or halfback by the Bulldogs. That hand pass was ordinary, wasn't it? McGregor again. Goodwin not able to break away. Edwards, Bickley. Bulldogs are possessed. Absolutely. The ferocity that they're going after the ball. If it had happened in the first 3 quarters, they wouldn't have had the lead that they're trying to eat away at the moment. Burton, no! Top effort by Grant, running back with the flight of the ball. Left foot kick by Chris Grant, out wide has been marked by Curley.
Still 7 minutes remaining, and 12 points the difference. Dimatina. The Dogs were down by 40 at 3/4 time. Johnson to Powell, who's been brilliant this term. Back to Brad Johnson. Oh, he's lucky to get away with that. He dropped it as though dropping it to his boot, and there's a kneecap gone out. Stevens not looking too good. It's like Creswell a few years ago. Benke, good mark. Well, Mark Stevens is to his feet. It happened in this tackle with Johnson. Ouch.
Actually, from the Bulldogs' point of view, boys, they don't want to see Grant winning the ball down the back pocket. They want him up this other end.
Well, they should bring the stretcher on because they've got a shot at goal, and then that'll hold up the play and enable them to get another player back on the ground.
The stretcher is on.
You called it. That's exactly what's happened. So a bit of a hold-up now while the stretcher comes on for Mark Stevens. 12 points the difference, and a chance for the Crows to get together here and reassess, because they haven't bothered the scorers in 20 minutes of football in this term. Good tackle by Stevens. He was probably a bit stiff not to actually get a free there, wasn't he?
Oh, yes, he bent that left leg.
Well, we saw Benke kick the ball easily this distance in the third quarter.
He kicked a magnificent goal, Robbo. Another one went right to the line. Then after the siren at three-quarter time, he drilled one as well. So he is a very, very good kick.
But KB, this added pressure with the time is not going to help the kid. Well, he's not a kid, but he's only a young player at this level.
Well, it'll be a testing kick because, as we know so far, they haven't scored in this last quarter. We've played virtually on 21 minutes. The Bulldogs have come from 40 points down. They trail by only 12 points. So if Benke can pop this through, it'll just hold up that momentum.
Well, it's another injury here to Adelaide, and they're just going down time after time. Curls, can you make it to training during the week? I reckon you might get a game soon.
I couldn't even do one lap.
Well, you can see there just whacking it back in. Their last score was at the 29-minute mark of the third quarter. That was a goal to Benke on the siren, or after the siren at three-quarter time. So it's been a tough last term. They've never lost to the Western Bulldogs here at the MCG. They've played twice, both in preliminary finals, and both times the Adelaide Crows have prevailed. So Benke here with probably the biggest kick of his short career, Curls.
Yes, it's a big one, and KB Stevens is going straight to the rooms, not coming to the Shane's bench.
And he's done a terrific job today playing on Chris Grant.
He certainly has. He's kept him, I don't know what his stats are, Grant, but nowhere near the power that he was last week.
11 possessions for Chris Grant and 1 goal.
And Stevens has had 16 playing against Chris Grant.
Yeah, great game. Real shame for him. Kid who came from Gippsland in Victoria. Firstly went to North Melbourne and then over to Adelaide.
Might have to turn the lights on. It's getting pretty dark, isn't it?
It is. And I'm thinking that maybe Stevens is thinking, well, that's my season gone right there. So what about Benke? Crows clinging to a 12-point lead after squandering a 40-point lead. This for their first score of the quarter. Great kick, but it's only a point. It could be handy in the wash-up, though.
Yes, 13 points means you need the 3 scoring shots.
Bulldogs making an assault. They trailed by 40 points at three-quarter time. They trail by 13 with 6 minutes left. They can go forward once again here. Liberatore takes the hand pass from Curley. The ball bounces awkwardly at half-forward. Ben Hart turned inside out. Grant and Edwards. Gee, Chris Grant pretty good. Here's 2 very skillful, hard ball players, Ben Hart and Chris Grant.
Well, he did very well then. He had 2 to beat.
I think your boys called
Tyson Edwards.
I think your boys called it correct. Dislocated kneecap to Stevens.
So Darcy with a big right fist to the back of the pack. Liberatore, Scotty West, got to hit his target. Missed it by a big margin. Went past Nigel Smart. Still Hudson. Now Cook tries to get it away. Chance here for West, left it behind. Montgomery and McLeod. Chance for Dimatina. Gathers it pretty well in the finish, Paul Dimatina. Left foot kick by that player. Back towards the goal front. Punched away from Hudson. It's a free kick, is it? What for?
He may have indicated he's come at him front on, I think. Let's have a look at the replay.
Did not have his eyes on the ball.
And if he's come at Hudson front on, as you can see there, he must get the free kick.
Against Matthew Robert then, huh?
Yep.
You've got to pay those every time.
Well, if he kicks this at 7 points the margin with 5 minutes left.
And you would think with the momentum the Bulldogs have got that they can pinch it.
Well, you'd back Paul Hudson 99 times out of 100. Right in front, 25 metres out. Kicks for goal, and he's put it through. So Paul Hudson's second goal has brought the margin back to 7 points in favour of Adelaide after they led by 40 at three-quarter time.
Well, this will be one of the biggest comebacks. We know that St Kilda had a big comeback up against Sydney a few years ago, when Tony Lockett, remember, he kicked 12 goals and knocked out Peter Caven. And then there was
Hawthorn
There was a big
against
one
St
this
Kilda
year too.
63
Hawthorn
points.
this year, and then we had the other big one up at the Gabba when the Hawks in Brisbane.
The Bulldogs were involved too earlier against the Swans.
So we've seen some big comebacks in recent times. There's Malcolm Blight looking on.
This is probably one of the reasons why he's retired, Kev.
Yes, I think you're right, Robbo.
Here's Smart, who's been absolutely fantastic for the Crows today. Up towards half forward. McGregor, a free kick, not a mark, but very well done by that kid.
It was too, Drew, yep.
He's just 18 years of age.
McGregor pops it up. He wants Becky.
Lack of experience there. So close to game, 7 points. Kick the ball straight to the goal square. Put it right in the hot spot and make it look very dangerous for the Bulldogs.
Dimatina.
50-metre
50
penalty.
metres. And the umpire having words with Benke. So Darcy will have his free kick forward of the centre circle. They trail by 7 points, 4 1/4 minutes remaining. What a comeback this would be. And actually, they've done it with Wine sitting on the bench. Darcy's been great in the middle. Grant! Front and square, Smith, but he went without the football. Goes wide. Cook looking to Shepherd. Dimatina to the top of the square for Grant. Not quite. Crumbs wanted. It spills out. Hudson for his third this quarter. Just offline.
I think if memory serves me correct, Hudson last week did nothing in the first 3 quarters and then kicked 3 goals in the last, and he's kicked 2 already this quarter.
Well, we'll just see how good the kick-out plan is for the Adelaide Crows here, Curls.
I know Rod put it as long as I could.
Well, they're down to just under 4 minutes.
Might have a dead heat. 97 Adelaide, 91 the Western Bulldogs. Jamison goes very long. Out in the direction of Smart. Getting back is Montgomery. Bulldogs will keep possession of the ball. Away to Curley. Curley's kick will put them within scoring range. It's a Bulldog mark. Darcy has taken it in front of Brad Johnson. And if the Bulldogs are to win this game, they can thank largely Luke Darcy's performance single-handedly in the middle of the ground. He has been tremendous.
Well, the coach, Terry Wallace, at 3/4 time, giving him the responsibility.
Well, Darcy didn't touch the football in the second and third quarters, and in this last quarter, 4 kicks, 2 hand passes, 3 marks.
And I don't know how many taps to the centre.
Luke Darcy, the player on the mark, is about 45 metres from goal. So he will still need a decent kick to score.
Well, he's about a 50% chance. He's booted 8 goals, 6 for the season.
Picture of concentration. Gets onto the drop punt, gets the distance and the accuracy. They're dead level at the cricket ground.
Well, this is one of the great comebacks. They were 40 points down at 3/4 time, and they've drawn level. Just under 3 minutes left. We've had a couple of great players in this last quarter. Stephen Powell started all. He's been magnificent. Paul Dimatina spent a bit of time on the bench. Has had a big last quarter as well, and so has this man in the ruck. They've been the catalyst. They've turned it around.
Well, just a phenomenal comeback by the Bulldogs in this last quarter. 6 goals, 5 to nothing. Or to a point.
Yeah, there's 1 point.
Scores level. Darcy clean possession. We've got 2 3/4 minutes left. Smith goes back with his hand pass, finishes up with Costa. A high one to the centre. Dogs have the numbers. West roving. Hand pass knocked down by Smart. Chance for McLeod. Kick by Andy McLeod, high to full forward. Button! Couldn't quite take his mark of the year. Whistle's gone. Dogs free kick. Ooh, just as McGregor was going goalwards for the Crows. Croft takes it quickly.
Out very wide. Looks for Dimatina. The ball bounces away from Paul Dimatina. Yes, that should have been a little bit more precise,
Yes,
shouldn't it?
a little bit better than that. And Paul Dimatina had plenty of space.
It's going to get down to that, isn't it? Just whoever can, in the crunch, the pressure cooker situation now, can deliver the ball with the precision that is necessary. Only 2 minutes left. The ball is exactly equidistant from the Crows' goal to the Bulldogs' goal. It's right on centre wing, in front of the Great Southern Stand, and the Bulldogs fans screaming, trying to get their side over the line. Johnson's kick is out on the full. He tried to force it forward, unsuccessful.
Well, you'd fancy the Bulldogs. They've had 11 scoring shots to 1 this quarter. They've kicked 6 goals, 5 to 1 behind. So they've got all the momentum.
Under 2 minutes left. Brad Johnson breaks for the Dogs. Ran a fair way. Kicks to half forward. Grant, who'd been up to midfield, has to get back to half forward. Hart takes it away. And that's come off West. That might be out on the full. No, the umpire calls for a throw-in.
Gee, it was great running by Ben Hart. He made a lot of ground to get to that contest. By the time he got there, Grant was there as well. I think Scotty West. So he did very well. Make certain that ball finally went over the line.
Just over a minute and a half left. Grant against Hart. Close to the boundary line. Liberatore. West shepherding. Libber keeps the ball in. That's where the Dogs want it. Cook is there. Hudson waits down. Front of the pack, Rowan Smith. Nobody in the goal square. Any score will put him in front. They lead by a point.
Well, he's been very good since half-time. He's booted 3 goals for Rowan Smith. And they'll have to kick the ball on now, straight down the centre, I would suspect.
Just over a minute left, and that's exactly the direction they go. 2-on-1 for the Bulldogs. Darcy to Liberatore. Liberatore towards full forward. Cook provides the contest. Rowan Smith beaten for it. Nigel Smart can't break away from the Scotty West Bulldog-like tackle. And it's locked up at half forward for the Western Bulldogs.
Well, they've got a race.
This is the first time the Bulldogs have been in front. And they hit the front with 75 seconds left.
Well, there you go. It's, as Curl said, a funny old game footy. McLeod caught. Goodwin. Kick smothered off the boot. Martin tries to keep it alive. Liberatore. Brad Johnson's kick smothered. Knocks it forward. Chance now for Hudson. Yes, he'll find some space. And yes, he'll kick another behind, because right on the line, Jamison was there. It just didn't quite have the carry.
No. But this is going to be one of the great wins. This will lift the spirit of the Bulldogs. They've never beaten the Crows before at the MCG. They've got a racehorse they call unfinished business, and that's what they're trying to do this season. Unfinished business.
Mammoth kick into the centre square for the Crows. They now need their only goal of the last quarter to win the game. Kane Johnson gets it up to Costa. There is time left, 13 seconds. Robrin with a bit of space on centre wing. He goes short. Vardy. Not much left, 7 seconds. Vardy doesn't know it.
They need a mark.
They want a mark from this kick.
No good.
Oh, who was there? Birdman. Siren! And the Dogs have won by 2 points to make up for a preliminary final 2 years ago when the Crows beat them by 2 points.
Well, it's one of the great wins. This will lift the spirit of the Western Bulldogs. This will do a lot for their self-confidence and their self-belief. You can see there Libber being hugged a few years ago. He thought he kicked the winning goal. And we saw Rowan Smith also in that final, thumping his fists on the ground. He had the ball in his hands as the siren went, carrying it around the half-back flank. So they are very excited, and so they should be, because it's great to see a side come back. When they're 40 points down, they've been completely outplayed all day by the Crows, but they had some great performances in that last quarter. Luke Darcy was superb in the ruck. Thought Stephen Power was just absolutely magnificent. Number 29 on screen. He was the catalyst. He really lifted the Bulldogs. He kicked a great goal at the start of the last quarter. Paul DiMartino won a lot of the ball as well. And the defence was magnificent, because the Crows just couldn't score. That midfield worked so hard, and all of a sudden that run that the Crows had early in the game, that bounce and that confidence disappeared as the Bulldogs grew in strength. And you could see halfway through the quarter they had that momentum. It was just a matter of whether the time clock could beat them, and they were just fantastic.
Well, the Dogs were goalless in the first quarter. The Crows were goalless in the last quarter, and the upshot was the Dogs by 2 points. Unbackable they were at three-quarter time.
It's a great win, mate. It's a big day for us today. To beat these guys on the MCG, Kells, it's a huge win. We're pretty pumped about it.
What did the coach say to you at three-quarter time?
Oh, mate, he's been great, Kells. He was very positive. Just said he's going to give me a go on the ruck and just to take a few chances. And, I got a few of the balls bounced my way, but, mate, it's a great win. We're pretty happy with that one.
Give me your honest thoughts at three-quarter time.
I thought we were in strife, Kells, but the best thing about our side this year, we kept on persevering. We did it against Sydney 2 weeks ago, and again today. It's a great win.
Great win, well done.
Thanks, Mills. Cheers.
Wonderful honesty there from Luke Darcy, who inspired him over the line in the last quarter.
Yes, Scotty Wine sat on the bench, and Luke Darcy went into the ruck, and he did play a great last quarter. Luke Darcy, there's Malcolm Blight. He'd be pretty darn disappointed. I think you said before, Curls, that maybe that last quarter is one of the reasons why he thinks that maybe his time's up as far as coaching is concerned in the AFL. But we're looking at a very good side here. Yeah. They've only been beaten once in their last 9 games. They've also had that drawn game against Hawthorn, and that was the game they got defeated by Essendon, which was a close game. It was a mighty game here at the MCG. So we're looking at one of the most informed sides in the competition over the last 10 weeks of this season.
There are certain results that just help a club grow in stature, and this could be just what they need 6 weeks out, couldn't it?
Yes, and also James Cook kicked 5 goals today. They've struggled to really find someone at full forward all year. James Cook's had a couple of cracks at it, and they had Kingsley Hunter, and they've tried all sorts of people. But when he's in good form and when he's fit, he is the focal point they need down there. He's got great kicking ability, he's got great size, and I think coming out of today's game, the good form of James Cook would be a real bonus on top of the 4 points and what goes with a great win such as the Bulldogs were able to pull off here today. 40 points down to get up the win by 2 points is fantastic.
14-15 to 14-13.